Chapter 39. Damn those bastards! They didn't even spare the elderly and the children. After walking around the small town, the students of the Northern College were seething with anger and killing intent. We didn't find the woman's body. She must have been taken away. The young man in the lead walked around the town and met up with the students of the Northern campus. Judging from the blood and the corpses, it seemed to have happened 2 hours ago. We just need to find the right direction. If we chase after them now, we should be able to find them. But the problem is that there are horse hoof prints all around the town. Which direction should we go? The students of the Northern campus talked to each other. The horse hoof prints must have been left by the bandits to prevent them from being tracked. They're heading east. Chin-yu, who had been silent all this time, looked east. East? Junior Chin-yu, are you sure? The students of the Northern campus looked at Chin-yu. Although Chin-yu was not the leader of their group, his strength was definitely the strongest among them. I'm sure. Chin-yu immediately gets on his horse and chases east. Seeing this, those Northern courtyard students follow him one after another. After chasing for dozens of miles, they followed the horse hoof prints and came to a mountain range. In the ancient forest at the edge of the mountain range there was a simple tent. Waves of wild laughter and the shrill voice of a woman could be heard. Those bastards! Hearing those voices, the students of the Northern campus naturally knew what the bandits were doing. Without wasting any time, they unsheathed their spiritual weapons, jumped off their horses, and rushed over. Whoosh! 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 Chin-yu did not move, but he flicked his right hand and shot out 3 darts. The bandit who was hiding in the dark and aiming at the students of the Northern campus with a crossbow was killed instantly. Who's there? Come out, there's an enemy attack. The murderous aura of the students of the Northern campus attracted the attention of the bandit. Figures rushed out of the tent. Although their clothes were disheveled, they seemed to be well trained. Seeing this, Chin-yu raised his eyebrows slightly. Those bandits didn't look like bandit. Instead, they looked more like soldiers in the army. Could they be from the 100 Battles dynasty? This mountain range was the border between the Zhenwu dynasty and the Baijian dynasty. It was indeed possible for the warriors of the 100 Battles dynasty to disguise themselves as bandits and cross over to kill and loot. Clang! Clang! The battle between the two sides was about to break out. Although the Northern campus students outnumbered the bandits, they had the upper hand in the battle and firmly suppressed the bandit. Oh no, they are the geniuses of the Zhenwu dynasty's Imperial Academy. Run! Facing all of the Earth martial arts realm, the bandits quickly couldn't hold on and turned to flee. Pung pung pung. However, at this moment, a series of shockingly powerful fist radiances continuously blasted through the air, accurately bombarding the bodies of the fleeing martial artists. Following a series of violent explosions, the cultivators exploded one after another. None of them survived. Chin-yu making a move thoroughly crushed the hopes of those martial artists. One by one, they were defeated swiftly. Leave a few alive and bring them to the authorities to interrogate them. The leading youth of the Northern campus seemed to have discovered these martial artists. After instructing them to leave a few alive, he rescued the women in the tent. At this point, their mission could be considered to have been successfully completed. These captives and these women would be arranged by the authorities directly under the imperial family. Boom! However, just as they were about to leave, a huge fireball of 10 feet in size suddenly shot out from the mountain range. Wherever the fireball passed, the ancient trees and boulders were incinerated one after another, leaving a terrifying fire path on the ground. It's the martial king realm. The dragon soul and the dragon god ancient seal immediately sensed it. Hell-suppressing divine spear. Chin-yu took a step forward and rushed towards the fireball head-on. The hell-suppressing divine spear shot out and man and spear became one, like a dragon emerging from the sea. Whoosh! A pure chi and blood energy turned into a fist-thick spear radiance at the tip of the spear and split the fireball in half. Rumble! The fireball split apart and rushed past Qin Yu on both sides. Then, it exploded violently. Raging flames that were as violent as molten lava swept out with a loud rumble. In an instant, the area within a radius of dozens of feet turned into a sea of flames. Even the Earth Martial Arts realm students of the northern campus found it difficult to resist the power of the true origin fire. Those ordinary women and captives were instantly turned into ashes in the rolling flames. There are 5 martial kings and 20 sky martial arts realm. A cold, killing intent appeared in the dragon soul's huge eyes. Looking at the casualties of the northern campus students, Qin Yu narrowed his eyes. It was impossible for martial kings to be reduced to bandit. Moreover, 5 of them appeared at once. This was definitely not a coincidence, and the true origin fireball just now was clearly locked onto him. Could it be that they were specifically targeting him? Thinking of this, Qin Yu held the hell-suppressing divine spear in his right hand and a spiritual array disc appeared in his left hand. He flew into the ancient forest. His target was the place where the 5 martial kings were hidden. Whoosh! Whoosh! When Qin Yu rushed out, true origin fireballs appeared one after another. They appeared in an orderly fashion and even formed a fireball formation that surrounded Qin Yu. 100 shadows, demonic footprints. An afterimage appeared. Qin Yu's body flashed through those frighteningly powerful true essence fireballs. After flying over 30 feet, Qin Yu finally saw the 5 martial kings and 20 sky martial arts realm students. Indeed, the clothes that these people wore were completely different from the bandits from before. He has some ability. No wonder the young master values him so much. A rank 5 martial king crossed his arms and stared at Qin Yu with a sinister smile on his face. Don't underestimate him. The young master said that Wu San's disappearance is very likely related to him. A sturdy martial king beside the rank 5 martial king spoke. Stop talking nonsense. Quickly get rid of them. The rank 7 martial king leading the group gave a sinister order. Even though their target was Qin Yu, since they had run into the northern college students, they naturally could not let them go. As for Qin Yu, there was a rank 4 martial king and a rank 5 martial king locking onto him. Boom! But just as the 10 sky martial realm students appeared, a huge creature landed on the ground. It was the Bloodflame Qilin. The young master said that this brat has a sky martial realm demonic beast. It seems that it's true. The rank 7 martial king leading the group revealed a sinister smile. He gestured to the other 10 sky martial realm students to surround the Bloodflame Qilin. Brat, prepare to die. The 2 martial kings who have their eyes on Qin Yu, engulfed in their majestic elemental energy, fiercely attack Qin Yu. Judging from the power of the attack, even a martial emperor realm cultivator would not be able to survive the attack. Just in time, Qin Yu's eyes flashed with a cold light. He retreated and allowed the 2 martial kings to approach him. Then, he threw 2 palm strikes at them. Boom! Boom! The profound spiritual runes on the spiritual formation plate lit up. Then, 2 streams of heaven-punishing killing intent instantly shattered the true origin attacks of the 2 martial kings and entered their bodies. Following this, the 2 martial emperor realm cultivators, whose faces were filled with murderous intent, exploded instantly and died without a doubt. Chapter 40. How is this possible? The eyes of the 3 martial kings, who had their arms crossed and were watching the show with cold eyes, bulged out. Their eyes were filled with shock. 2 martial kings were crushed by a rank 5 earth martial realm cultivator with 1 palm? Even though such a shocking thing happened right in front of their eyes, they still couldn't believe it. Qin Yu's figure flashed. After taking the 2 summer rings, he rushed towards the 3 martial kings like lightning. When a cultivator reached the martial king realm, they could fly. That was Qin Yu's biggest weakness right now. Therefore, he had to kill these 3 martial emperor realm cultivators before they could react. Not good. Feeling the terrifying killing intent from Qin Yu, the three martial kings felt a chill run down their spines. They subconsciously formed wings with their true origin and prepared to fly into the air. Die. However, at this moment, Qin Yu's speed abruptly increased by several times. He turned into an illusory shadow and rushed before them like lightning. Bang! Bang! Of the three martial kings, other than the rank 7 martial king, the other two were instantly killed by Qin Yu. Dragon Soul! Seeing that rank 7 martial king flying at an extremely fast speed, with a thought from Qin Yu, he also jumped high into the sky. Rumble! The dragon soul understood, and the huge blood flame Qilin immediately rushed over. It jumped up and fiercely collided with Qin Yu, who was in the air. Qin Yu, who stopped his momentum, stepped on the blood flame Qilin with the tip of his foot. Borrowing the huge collision and rebound force, he quickly chased after the rank 7 heavenly martial realm cultivator with cold sweat on his face. Boom! When they were 20 meters apart, Qin Yu's left hand suddenly shot out. Within the spiritual formation plate, two heaven-punishing killing intents overlap. Like a hurricane of destruction, they crossed the distance between them and fiercely bombarded the rank 7 heavenly martial realm cultivator. As expected, the rank 7 heavenly martial realm cultivator also exploded. With a flash of true origin, Qin Yu swept away the summer ring and flipped in the air. He was caught by the blood flame Qilin in the air and safely landed on the ground. Huff! Qin Yu exhaled slightly. Fortunately, those martial kings were frightened by his means. Otherwise, if 3 martial kings were to attack him from the sky, he would have no choice but to flee. Not good, run. He's definitely not in the Earth martial arts realm. When the 20 Heaven Realm warriors saw that Qin Yu landed safely, they were already scared out of their wits, and they all fled for their lives. In their hearts, Qin Yu was already able to stand shoulder to shoulder with experts like the Martial Emperor. Looking at the North Campus student lying in a pool of blood, a cold light flashed in Qin Yu's eyes as he activated Ghost Shadow Demonic Track. Puff! Puff! Those Sky Martial Realm cultivators didn't even get far before they were all killed by Qin Yu's heaven-punishing killing intent. But at this moment, a great sense of danger suddenly appeared in Qin Yu's mind. Almost without thinking, Qin Yu immediately used 100 Shadows demonic steps and dodged to the side. Crack! The moment Qin Yu moved to the side, the ground where he was standing suddenly cracked and 2 stone pillars rushed out of the ground. The dragon soul's reaction was a step too slow. The blood flame Kirin's head was pierced and its life force was exhausted. It's a martial emperor! The dragon soul immediately returned to the ancient seal of the dragon god and warned. Apart from the Zhou family, are there any other forces that sent people to kill me? Qin Yu's eyes flashed. Obviously, the martial emperor who attacked him was not a martial emperor from the Zhou family. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for him not to save the 3 martial kings. In any force in the Zhen Wu dynasty, a martial king was definitely a force that couldn't be ignored. Shui family. A thought flashed in Qin Yu's mind. In the imperial city, apart from Zhou Tianlang, only Shui Tianwu had a grudge with Qin Yu. Previously, Qin Yu had found it strange that Shui Tianwu, who was arrogant in the past, didn't do anything after he came to the Imperial Sacred Institute. Who would have thought that it was not that Shui Tianwu did not make a move. Instead, he had been preparing his trump card in the dark. As soon as he made a move, he immediately sent out a martial emperor. While Qin Yu was thinking, a figure appeared in the air. He was about 200 feet above Qin Yu and looked down at Qin Yu coldly. Now that the heaven-punishing killing intent has been exposed, it won't be easy to kill this person. The dragon soul looked at the martial emperor and said, "Unless you can get close to him. Judging from his appearance, he won't give me a chance to get close to him. I can only run." Qin Yu glanced at the martial emperor who kept a distance of 200 feet from him. He knew that the martial emperor must have carefully observed his previous battle, so he immediately ran away. He was forced to run away by a martial emperor, the dragon soul's killing intent was dense. It felt like a tiger that was bullied by dogs, or a dragon that was teased by shrimps in shallow water. How could Qin Yu not feel this way? He was the dragon god emperor of the Qin Yun domain, whose name shook the world. Unfortunately, no matter how strong he was in his previous life, he was only a level 5 Earth martial arts realm now. Boom! Boom! Seeing this, the martial emperor flew into the air and chased after him. Streaks of earthy yellow true essence that contained terrifying power rained down like a torrential storm. With Qin Yu as the center, the area within 100 feet radius was indiscriminately attacked. Qin Yu relied on the Earth-class spiritual weapon, the hell-suppressing divine spear, and the fire-thunder dragon body to avoid the vital essence attack. If it was too difficult to dodge, he would use the heaven-punishing killing intent to shatter it. The power of the heaven-punishing killing intent was so strong that even a martial emperor would most likely die if he was hit directly, let alone break through the attack of a martial emperor. However, the 10 streaks of heaven-punishing killing intent stored in the spiritual array disk had been used up when he fought against the Zhou clan's martial king and the heaven martial arts realm. Qin Yu could only rely on the strength of his body to withstand the damage caused by the explosion of the heaven-punishing killing intent in the fairy extermination painting. Under the continuous use of the heaven-punishing killing intent, even the level 1 fire thunder body had bloody wounds on his hands, which were dripping with blood. But it was also because of this that Qin Yu managed to avoid fatal injuries. Sensing the surrounding terrain, he flew into the depths of the mountain range. Only by using the complicated terrain could he possibly get rid of the martial emperor. However, that martial emperor had clearly also sensed Qin Yu's intention. Streaks of vital essence attacks accurately locked onto Qin Yu, making it impossible for him to get rid of them. After a martial artist entered the martial emperor realm, he would have the initial awakening of the soul power. It would not be easy for Qin Yu to get rid of them. Such a terrifying killing intent, yet it can be unleashed continuously. What kind of treasure does this kid have on him? At this moment, the eyes of the martial emperor who was chasing Qin Yu were filled with greed. From the time Qin Yu fought with the 5 martial kings to now when he was being chased, he had released the terrifying killing intent nearly 40 times. The killing intent was powerful enough to make him feel the threat of death, but Qin Yu seemed to be inexhaustible. This made the martial emperor feel a strong sense of greed. As long as he could obtain that treasure, he could become one of the few experts in the Zhenwu dynasty. Cave. At this moment, Qin Yu, who was escaping in a sorry state, suddenly changed his direction. His eyes lit up. Soon, Qin Yu arrived in front of a pitch-black cave. Qin Yu turned his head and looked coldly at the martial emperor who was chasing him. His figure flashed as he directly entered the cave. This caused the martial emperor who was chasing after them to frown. After Qin Yu entered, the aura fluctuations on his body immediately disappeared. He could not sense it, which greatly exceeded his expectations. Preparing to kill him? Looking at Qin Yu, who had used the dark shadow aura holding technique to hide behind the shadow of a sharp stone, as if he had fused with that sharp stone, the dragon soul saw through Qin Yu's plan. Of course. Qin Yu's chest trembled slightly as he circulated his breathing. His gaze was simple and calm. He did not show any signs of life, as if he was just a stone. So what if you are a martial emperor? How dare you chase after me? You are tired of living. Chapter 41. I'm just afraid that he won't dare to come in. Thinking of the caution of the martial emperor, the dragon soul said. If this dragged on, they would be in danger if the martial emperor had other helpers. No, he'll come in. Qin Yu sneered in his heart. He had already noticed the greed in the martial emperor's cold eyes. As a martial emperor, he would definitely not let go of such a treasure in the hands of an Earth martial realm cultivator. As long as that person could not suppress the greed in his heart and entered the cave, he would be dead. The situation was just as Qin Yu expected. After a short hesitation, the martial emperor flew to the entrance of the cave. The martial emperor was obviously still very afraid of the danger of the heaven-punishing killing intent. After landing, a layer of true essence several feet thick appeared around his body. A thick shield appeared in his left hand, and a few talismans appeared in his right hand, shining faintly. Looking at his solemn posture, it seemed that he was not dealing with an earth martial realm cultivator, but a martial venerable. Ka. After some preparation, the summer ring on the martial emperor's hand flashed. A wooden puppet beast landed on the ground and walked into the cave. On top of the puppet beast's head, there was a dazzling white light emitting. The situation in the cave was clear and bright. The martial emperor looked around carefully and saw a line of footprints on the ground. It was obvious that he had rushed into the depths of the cave. "Humph, do you think that I can't do anything to you just because you restricted flying?" The martial royal realm expert sneered and slowly walked into the cave. Under such a bright light, Qin Yu had nowhere to hide. In his opinion, Qin Yu rushing into the cave was undoubtedly forcing him into a dead end. The killing intent was indeed terrifying, but the cave was so big. With his current speed and defense, he could completely avoid being hit directly. As long as he avoided the first attack, Qin Yu would definitely die. For a martial emperor to kill a puny earth martial realm cultivator was no different from crushing an ant. Whoosh! However, just as the martial emperor walked to a small sharp stone, the martial emperor suddenly stopped. A streak of black light, which was inconspicuous even under the illumination of the white light, flashed and rushed to the martial emperor's side. Not good! The martial emperor's pupils constricted, and he immediately prepared to use his movement technique to dodge. But in that instant, a powerful soul force attack pierced through his true origin shield like a sharp knife, piercing into his mind. The martial emperor's body trembled, and his eyes clearly became vacant. Bang! In the next moment, Qin Yu struck out with his palm. A monstrous murderous aura wildly erupted. A tunnel that was dozens of feet deep was blasted open on the stone wall of the cave. Cough cough. Qin Yu finally felt relieved after turning the martial dominator realm cultivator into a headless corpse. At this moment, his face was deathly pale and bloodless. His aura was weak, and he was coughing non-stop. There was a faint trace of blood accompanying his coughing. "It will probably take me a few months to recover my soul power and heaven-punishing killing intent." The dragon soul inspected Qin Yu's injuries. The secret soul technique had exhausted almost 90% of Qin Yu's soul power. Qin Yu's opponent this time was a martial dominator realm cultivator, not the earth martial arts realm cultivator. Ordinary secret soul techniques would not be able to knock him out. In addition to the great depletion of his soul power, Qin Yu's left hand's flesh, bones, meridians, and internal organs had suffered a great backlash from the heaven-punishing killing intent. After all, Qin Yu had used the heaven-punishing killing intent too many times to fight with the martial emperor. It was fortunate that his physical body had not collapsed. In the heaven-punishing formation, there were only 57 of the original 99 heaven-punishing killing intent left. Although the killing intent could gradually recover as long as the original killing intent did not collapse, it needed to absorb the killing intent. In other words, the killing intent of the heaven-punishing formation could only be completely recovered in a fight. Luckily, I found it interesting and cultivated the dark shadow aura holding skill. Qin Yu naturally knew about his injuries. He immediately sat cross-legged on the ground and consumed a few advanced spiritual pills. The dark shadow aura holding skill was an assassination skill in the dark world of the Qinyun realm. After cultivating it, not only could one completely restrain one's life force, true qi, soul and other fluctuations, but one could also merge with the surrounding shadows. Even the slightest bit of black light could be hidden in it. The assassin Di Zun, who tried to assassinate Qin Yu, had almost succeeded. I have to step into the martial king realm as soon as possible. The dragon soul's expression was grave. To a certain extent, luck played a big role in being able to kill the martial emperor this time. If there were 2 martial emperors next time, or a martial honorable who was stronger than the martial emperor, they would not be able to escape. Yes. Qin Yu nodded. Increasing his strength was indeed the most important thing now. Even with the heaven-punishing killing intent, it was not enough for him to be safe now. 2 hours later, Qin Yu's injuries had mostly recovered. After destroying the martial emperor's body, Qin Yu filled the spiritual array disc with the heaven-punishing killing intent and quickly left. Hey, Dragon Soul, did you sense it? Qin Yu, who was running through the mountain range in search of a secret place to heal, slightly changed his expression. It's the aura of the dragon scale fruit, and it's gradually ripening. The dragon soul's huge eyes were filled with joy as it immediately sensed it. Southeast. Qin Yu immediately changed his direction and flew away at an extremely fast speed. The dragon scale fruit was rumored to be a strange fruit that contained dragon blood. There was once a martial artist who had swallowed the dragon scale fruit and awakened the dragon bloodline in his body. For ordinary people, these were just rumors. However, Qin Yu knew that the dragon scale fruit did indeed contain the power of dragon blood. This was because the dragon scale fruit could only grow after absorbing dragon blood. More importantly, the dragon scale fruit only existed for a quarter of an hour after it had ripened. This also made the dragon scale fruit extremely rare. Unless one encountered it on the spot and swallowed it, it was impossible to get a dragon scale fruit on the market. Unexpectedly, there was a dragon scale fruit here. This made Qin Yu and the dragon soul overjoyed. Half an hour later, Qin Yu crossed more than half of the mountain range and arrived in front of a deep canyon. Following the aura of the dragon scale fruit, Qin Yu came all the way to the depths of the canyon and finally saw the dragon scale fruit. On the stone walls of the canyon, there were vines the size of a baby's arm. They were like dragons flying in the sky, crisscrossing and covering more than half of the stone wall. In the center of those vines, there was a palm-sized fruit with a pale golden body. On the surface of the pale golden fruit, dragon scale-like patterns could be clearly seen. Sure enough, it's about to ripen. What a good opportunity! Qin Yu's eyes lit up. A dragon scale fruit was equivalent to thousands of spirit pills. After all, no matter how good spirit pills were, one could not always use them to accumulate cultivation. This was a big taboo. Sneak attack? Suddenly, Qin Yu's ears twitched slightly. His eyes turned cold and he quickly moved aside. Ka. 3 sharp arrows, with a sharp sound, shot straight into the stone wall. If Qin Yu had not noticed just now, he would have been killed by the arrows. Not bad, a mere Earth martial arts realm martial artist can avoid my attack. A sinister laugh sounded. A young man in his early 20s, wearing a long bow and wearing a luxurious robe, entered the canyon with a team of guards. The person who shot the arrows just now was obviously him. Chapter 42. He glanced at the longbow-wielding young man and the others. The longbow-wielding young man's cultivation had reached half-step martial king. The 3 bodyguards of the young man were all martial kings. One was a rank 5 martial king and the other 2 were rank 4 martial kings. As for the other bodyguards, they were all in the heaven martial realm. Just by looking at them, one could tell that the longbow-wielding young man's background was not small. It seems that you've also taken a fancy to the dragon scale fruit? A trace of killing intent flashed through the longbow-wielding young man's eyes. It seems that you don't plan to give it to me, Qin Yu said indifferently. You're courting death. You dare to fight with me? The longbow-wielding young man drew his bow and 3 arrows were aimed at Qin Yu. I'll give you a chance. If you cripple your own cultivation now, I can still spare your life. Otherwise what? Qin Yu smiled, but the coldness in his eyes became even more intense. Die. The longbow-wielding young man smiled sinisterly. The 3 arrows were covered with true energy and shot towards Qin Yu in an orderly fashion, sealing off Qin Yu's escape routes from both sides. With just Yu. This time, Qin Yu did not dodge. He flipped his right hand and the hell-suppressing divine spear appeared. The hell-suppressing divine spear was thrust forth angrily. Before those 3 sharp arrows could even approach Qin Yu, they were all shattered by the hell-suppressing divine spear. Earth-rank spiritual artifact? The longbow-wielding young man was stunned. Then, greed appeared in his eyes as he stared at the hell-suppressing divine spear. The hell-suppressing divine spear was emitting a terrifying fluctuation. It was the spiritual might that only an earth-rank spiritual artifact would have. Young master, I'm afraid that this person's background is not small. The rank 5 martial king's eyebrows twitched as he quietly said to the longbow-wielding young man. Qin Yu looked like he was in his 20s, but he had an earth-rank spiritual artifact on him. It was clear that he had a great power behind him. So what? He disappeared in the Shadow Moon mountain range. Who can find out that it was us? The longbow-wielding young man's eyes were already filled with greed. No matter how great Qin Yu's background was, he still wanted to kill him and rob him. An Earth martial realm coming out with an Earth-rank spiritual artifact was a typical person who was tired of living. Kill him! Without wasting any time, the young man with the longbow immediately gave the order. When the accompanying Sky martial realm received the order, they all surrounded and attacked Qin Yu. Dragon battling the 9 heavens! Qin Yu was not afraid in the slightest. He held the hell-suppressing divine spear in his hand and used a profound spear technique. He was like a dragon god coming into being, and he killed all the heaven realm cultivators who were rushing over. 120,000 gene of strength, coupled with the battle dragon true chi and the power of the king-level martial skill, the 9 heavens dragon spear art, easily swept through the Sky martial realm without any effort. All of you, go and slaughter him! The longbow-wielding young man was not angry at all. Instead, the joy on his face was even more obvious. The stronger the hell-suppressing divine spear was, the happier he was. As for those heaven realm warriors, they were just some useless trash. It didn't matter how many of them died or were injured. Hand over your life. Immediately, the 2 level 4 warriors of the Earth martial arts realm were like wild beasts coming out of their cages. They fiercely pounced on Qin Yu with an extremely frightening power. Whoosh! Whoosh! Qin Yu still did not move in the slightest. In his left hand, 2 glowing talismans turned into 2 rays of light and collided with the 2 martial kings. Boom! Seeing this, the 2 martial kings casually used their true origin energy and shattered the talismans. 2 deafening explosions resounded and the entire canyon faintly trembled. However, after the explosions, the 2 martial kings were completely obliterated. It was as if they didn't exist. How could this be? The rank 5 martial king's face was filled with shock. There was even a trace of fear in his eyes. It's a rank 6 talisman. The longbow-wielding young man was quite knowledgeable, and he recognized it. A rank 6 talisman that only martial monarchs can refine? After the initial shock, the rank 5 martial king came to a realization. A rank 6 talisman contained the power of a martial monarch. It was no wonder that the 2 talismans were able to kill martial kings. Of course, this also meant that there was an 80 to 90% chance that there was a martial emperor behind Qin Yu. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to carry so many rank 6 talismans with him. The power is pretty good. Seeing the power of the talismans, Qin Yu lightly nodded his head. Naturally, there was no martial monarch behind him. The rank 6 talismans he used earlier were all obtained from the martial monarch. Originally, that martial monarch had wanted to use the talismans to kill Qin Yu. However, he was instead instantly killed by Qin Yu. Rank 6 talismans are indeed very powerful. However, with his Earth martial realm cultivation, it is impossible for him to instantly ignite the true origin energy within them. As long as he dodges, he will be a turtle in a jar. the longbow-wielding young man said with a gloomy expression. He did not care about the number of heaven martial realm cultivators that died. However, the death of 2 martial kings caused him to feel heartache. However, he had already lost 2 martial kings. Naturally, he would not stop. He must obtain the hell-suppressing divine spear. Immediately, the rank 5 martial king with cold killing intent in his eyes understood. He immediately flew into the air, and began to frantically bombard Qin Yu with astonishing true origin energy attack. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Qin Yu leapt into the air, and used the 100 shadow demonic step. He left behind a series of afterimages as he leapt towards that martial king. Boom! With a palm strike, a frightening killing intent that could destroy the heavens and the earth burst forth. Half of the martial emperor realm cultivator's head was smashed into pieces, causing him to fall from the sky. What is that power? The longbow-wielding young man who was originally staring at Qin Yu with a gloomy expression had turned deathly pale. Even without using a rank 6 talisman, Qin Yu was actually able to kill a rank 5 martial king with a single palm strike. This caused him to be in disbelief. He was unable to believe what he had just seen. Qin Yu did not give the longbow-wielding young man any time to react. After he landed on the ground, he quickly rushed towards the longbow-wielding young man like a cheetah hunting its prey. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The longbow-wielding young man turned pale with fright. He shot out 5 arrows in succession. However, they were all either deflected or shattered by the hell-suppressing divine spear. They were unable to threaten Qin Yu at all. Boom, boom, boom. When the longbow-wielding young man saw this, he hurriedly turned around and fled. While he was fleeing, he exploded many powerful true origin pearls. They were enough to kill a martial king. Clearly, they were used to protect his life. Unfortunately, Qin Yu's 100 shadow demonic steps allowed him to dodge them one by one. He quickly caught up to the longbow-wielding young man. Don't kill me. You can't kill me. I'm the young master of the Heavenly Star County. Seeing Qin Yu's cold gaze approaching him, the longbow-wielding young man, who was enveloped by a strong sense of death, cried out in fear. Pooh! With a swing of the spear, the longbow-wielding young man's hands were pierced. The longbow-wielding young man fell to the ground, and he let out a miserable shriek. Do you think your identity is useful here? Qin Yu's gaze was cold. There was not the slightest fluctuation in his gaze. I can tell you a secret. A huge secret. The longbow-wielding young man's face twitched as his hands were pierced. He was drenched in cold sweat. A huge secret? Qin Yu raised his eyebrows. Let's hear it. You have to agree first. You can't kill. The longbow-wielding young man was about to state his conditions, but before he could finish his sentence, his left shoulder was pierced by the spear. His entire body was covered in blood. This caused the longbow-wielding young man to howl even more miserably. He, who had been pampered since he was young, had never suffered such pain before. He didn't care about the conditions and immediately told him the big secret. After Qin Yu heard this, he was slightly surprised. After repeated interrogation, he was even somewhat moved. As for the longbow-wielding young man, Qin Yu naturally didn't spare his life. The world of cultivators had always been one where the strong preyed on the weak. Showing mercy was tantamount to digging one's own grave. If he didn't have many tricks up his sleeve, the person lying dead on the ground would be him. If what he said is true, then that 7-star secret realm space might have been left behind by a Wu Xing. After killing the longbow-wielding young man, the dragon soul in the ancient dragon seal spoke. Since there is the pressure of the realm of heaven and earth, at the very least, it should be Wu Xing. Qin Yu also nodded slightly. The big secret that the longbow-wielding young man spoke of was the 7-star secret realm in the Heavenly Star County of the 100 Battles dynasty. Chapter 43. In the 7-star secret realm, there was a 7-star pagoda, which contained countless treasures. The 7-star secret realm opened once every 10 years, and there were two conditions. Only martial artists below the martial royal realm and under the age of 20 could enter. Therefore, every time it opened, more than half of the young experts of the Baijian dynasty would gather. For this reason, the Tianqing county would hold a big martial gathering. Only the top 100 who stood out from the martial gathering were qualified to enter the 7-star secret realm. This is an opportunity. If it's really the place where Wu Xing died, maybe his saint soul will be left behind. Qin Yu's eyes lit up. Wu Xing's saint soul was a great supplement for him now. How do you plan to get in? The dragon soul asked. The martial gathering held by the Tianqing county was only open to martial artists of the Baijian dynasty. Therefore, to participate in the martial gathering, one had to be recommended by the forces of the Baijian dynasty. Qin Yu did not know anyone in the Baijian dynasty. Isn't there a ready-made one in front of me? Qin Yu looked at the longbow-wielding young man lying in a pool of blood, and his face was filled with joy. Aren't you afraid that the Tianqing county will find out? The dragon soul understood Qin Yu's meaning. Oh, who would believe that I, a 5th-grade Earth martial realm, can kill them? Qin Yu chuckled and flicked his finger. The battle dragon genuine Qi broke through the air and swept up the summer rings of the longbow-wielding young man and the others. From the summer ring, Qin Yu saw the longbow-wielding young man's crown prince token. This identity token was much more useful than the recommendation letter. More importantly, Qin Yu also got a 7-colored ancient token. This 7-colored ancient token was the big secret that the longbow-wielding young man had mentioned. After completely destroying the bodies of the martial artists of the Tianqing county, Qin Yu began to wait for the dragon scale fruit to ripen. 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. The fragrance of the dragon scale fruit was even stronger, and it was shining faintly. Finally, it was completely ripe. Pucci. After killing the cyan python that was attracted by the dragon scale fruit, Qin Yu's figure flashed and caught the dragon scale fruit that fell to the ground. Rumble. After leaping into a remote cave, Qin Yu did not hesitate and immediately swallowed the dragon scale fruit. The dragon scale fruit melts as soon as it enters Qin Yu's mouth. A pure medicinal power as vast as a river instantly fills Qin Yu's entire body. Qin Yu felt that all the blood in his body was boiling violently, as if it was being burned by raging flames. It was shockingly hot. Devour! Inside the divine dragon ancient seal, the dragon soul did not rest. It immediately devoured all of the dragon blood contained in the dragon scale fruit. Not long after, strands of light golden-colored blood appeared from the divine dragon ancient seal and fused with Qin Yu's boiling water like blood. After a full 6 hours, the boiling blood in Qin Yu's body gradually calmed down. However, the blood that was originally scarlet had turned a faint golden color. Dragon blood awakening! Rumble! Qin Yu opened his eyes and clenched his fists. With the ancient divine dragon seal, refining the energy of the dragon scale fruit, Qin Yu successfully awakened his dragon blood. Rumble! This meant that Qin Yu's physique was about to change and become a true spirit body. A spirit body was in existence even higher than a spirit vein. It was the true darling of heaven and earth. Of course, Qin Yu was not a spirit body yet. It would take a lot of time for it to change. I'm at the peak of the earth martial realm. After awakening his dragon blood, Qin Yu's cultivation had broken through several levels and reached the peak of the earth martial realm. If he were to cultivate normally, even if he had 3 dragon veins in his body, it would still take him a few months. I might as well directly enter the sky martial realm. The martial meet of the 7-star secret realm will be held in 10 days. Let's go to the heavenly star county first. Qin Yu thought for a while and shook his head. Although he could refine the soul-refining pill and break through to the sky martial realm, he did not do so. To a martial artist, the foundation was very important. Therefore, when he entered the sky martial realm, his true qi turned into true essence. He could not be careless. Immediately, Qin Yu stood up and left the valley, entering the 100 Battles dynasty's territory. 9 days later, Qin Yu arrived at the center of the Heavenly Star County, the Heavenly Star City where the martial meet was held. Qin Yu's cultivation was at the peak of the Earth martial realm. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Those who dared to participate in the martial meet of the 7-star secret realm were all in the sky martial realm. After changing his appearance, Qin Yu passed the recommendation with the longbow-wielding young man's crown prince token. At this moment, Qin Yu did not know that the Heavenly Star Duke's mansion was in chaos. The reason was that the martial meet was about to begin, but the longbow-wielding young man had not returned. In the hall of the Heavenly Star Duke's mansion. It's been more than 10 days. Where did my brother go? A burly young man paced back and forth anxiously in the hall. The burly young man looked similar to the longbow-wielding young man. He was the Crown Prince of the Heavenly Star Duke's mansion, Xing Yufeng. Crown Prince, there's news. At that moment, a guard of the sky realm hurriedly entered the palace. Tell me. Xing Yufeng's eyes lit up. Someone took the Crown Prince's Crown Prince token and came to participate in the martial meet. He said he was recommended by the Crown Prince. The Sky Martial Realm warrior said. Where is he? Xing Yufeng frowned. The 7-star secret realm was such an important event. His brother would not participate but recommend someone else? This made Xing Yufeng feel strange. Soon, Xing Yufeng and the others found Qin Yu, who was waiting for the martial meet. My brother gave this to you? Xing Yufeng took the Crown Prince token and stared at Qin Yu. Yes. Qin Yu nodded. Who are you? Why would my brother give this token to you? Xing Yufeng sized up Qin Yu. Qin Yu was young, but he was at the peak of the Earth martial realm. His talent was not weak. My name is Jiang Dali. I'm a disciple of the Giant Spirit sect. The Crown Prince said that as long as I could enter the 7-star secret realm, he would let me enter the Duke's mansion to cultivate. After that, the Crown Prince went to the Shadow Moon mountain range. Qin Yu's words were half true and half false. The Giant Spirit sect existed. However, the Giant Spirit sect was only a small sect located at the edge of the Heavenly Star County. No matter how fast Xing Yufeng and the others were, it would take at least a few days to track it down. By then, Qin Yu would have entered the 7-star secret realm. In the past couple days, Qin Yu had made proper preparations. Shadow Moon mountain range? Could it be? Hearing Qin Yu's words, Xing Yufeng's expression changed slightly. A few days ago, his brother did say that he had found a treasure in the Shadow Moon mountain range. For this, he had specially brought 3 Martial King Realm cultivators. Could it be that something had happened and he was delayed in the Shadow Moon mountain range? Thinking of this, Xing Yufeng took a deep look at Qin Yu and turned to leave. He sent people to the Shadow Moon mountain range. As for Qin Yu's qualification to participate in the martial meet, he did not stop him. Recruiting geniuses back to the prince's mansion to nurture their cultivation was a common practice among the noble princes. The next day, the martial meet was held like this, although the Heavenly Star Duke's mansion was the host. The young geniuses who had gathered now were all people with great background. The Heavenly Star Duke's mansion naturally would not delay the martial meet. The Duke's mansion had cultivated many genius powerhouses. Chapter 44. Dong Dong Dong. After the heavy bell sounded, all the geniuses who came to participate in the martial gathering gathered in the center of the city. The rules of the martial gathering were quite simple. If you lost, you would be eliminated. Of course, those young geniuses who had entered the Martial King realm did not need to fight. There were a total of 34 young geniuses in the Martial King realm. In other words, there were only 66 spots for the other geniuses to enter the secret realm. Boom boom boom. On the various arenas, fierce battles unfolded one after another. The scale of this martial gathering was only weaker than the annual 100 Battles assembly in the 100 Battles dynasty. An Earth martial realm cultivator coming to participate in the martial gathering, isn't he too ignorant? Qin Yu's opponent was at the third level of the heaven martial realm. When he saw Qin Yu, he smiled as if victory was in his hands. Bang! But in the end, he was sent flying by Qin Yu, who was wearing a glove spirit weapon, with a punch and was eliminated. This glove was obtained from the martial monarch. It was a top-grade profound rank spirit weapon. He can easily win against someone who is 3 levels above him? This time I've recruited a good seedling. Xing Yufeng, who had been paying attention to Qin Yu, was a little surprised. Then, he nodded slightly. Qin Yu's true qi was quite strong and his physical strength was also very strong. It was obvious that his talent was not bad. I heard that the disciples of the giant spirit sect have astonishing attainments in body refinement. It's true. Beside Xing Yufeng, a martial king old man said. Soon, Qin Yu welcomed the second round, the third round, the fourth round, almost every round. Qin Yu would fight against a heaven martial realm cultivator. However, he won every battle in a domineering manner, and this attracted the attention of many experts. It was unknown if it was a coincidence or good luck, but every time Qin Yu encountered a heaven martial realm cultivator, their strength was not very strong. He did not need to go all out to easily win. However, this was enough to shock people. After all, it was very rare to be able to repeatedly defeat a heaven martial realm cultivator with earth martial realm's true qi. 6 hours later, when the fiery red sun was in the sky, the 66 spots were selected. Except for Qin Yu, who was at the peak of the earth martial arts realm, the rest were all at the high level of the sky martial arts realm. When evening came, a golden starlight descended from the sky and landed in the center of the heavenly star constellation. At the place where the golden starlight landed, there was an altar. On the altar, Qin Yu and the 100 people who had emerged victorious were neatly arranged. Buzz, buzz, buzz. When the golden light fell, the air rippled like water, and then a golden door of light appeared in a flash. Inside the golden light gate, one could see a golden ancient star standing tall. At the top of the golden tower, there were 7 golden stars revolving around it. Remember, you can only stay in there for 3 days. After 3 days, no matter which level of the 7-star ancient pagoda you reached, you must leave. In the Tianxing Commandery Prince's mansion, the old martial king solemnly said to the 100 people, "Go in." As soon as he finished speaking, Qin Yu and the rest of the 100 people jumped into the light gate one after another. The moment he entered the door of light, Qin Yu felt a space-time force appear and pull him into the 7-star ancient pagoda. There is indeed the fluctuation of a sacred soul. The moment they entered the 7-star ancient pagoda, Qin Yu and the dragon soul were shocked. At the top of the 7-star ancient pagoda, they felt a powerful fluctuation of soul energy. Qin Yu looked around and saw the situation around him. The first level was a huge square. There were wooden and stone puppets on the square. Aside from Qin Yu, there were 9 other cultivators here. Out of the 9, 8 were in the 9th grade sky martial realm and 1 was a half-step martial king. There are still 50 sky martial realm wooden and stone puppets. I've heard that the 7-star ancient pagoda's test is extremely difficult. It really lives up to its reputation. The expressions of the 8 cultivators at the 9th level of the heaven realm all slightly froze. The 7-star ancient pagoda had a total of 7 levels. On the first level, they had to deal with 50 sky martial realm wooden and stone puppets. One could imagine how difficult it would be after that. You're scared by 50 puppets? What a bunch of useless trash. A mocking laugh sounded out. It was the half-step martial king youth who looked arrogantly at Qin Yu and the others. That youth looked to be around 18 years old. He held a profound spiritual artifact in his hand, and there was a strong fluctuation of spiritual artifact on his body. It was clear that he was wearing a defensive spiritual armor. It's Qian Peng from the Qianyuan Commandery Prince's palace. The Sky Martial Realm cultivators seemed to know who the half-step martial king youth was, but they didn't dare to say anything. Not to mention the difference in their status, they weren't a match for him in terms of strength. If you want to pass, listen to me from now on. Qian Peng looked at the sky martial realm cultivators arrogantly, but when he looked at Qin Yu, he was stunned. It's said that only the top geniuses can enter the martial gathering of the 7-star pagoda. How come there's a piece of rat shit this time? Qian Peng looked at Qin Yu with disdain. You're only in the earth martial realm, yet you're able to get a spot. Who are you to the Tianxing Commandery Prince's palace? The sky martial realm cultivators also looked at Qin Yu. During the martial gathering, although Qin Yu had the power to fight those above his level, his opponents weren't strong. Naturally, they suspected that there was something fishy going on. You'd better get lost while I'm in a good mood. Qin Yu glanced at Qian Peng. A half-step martial king dared to call him a piece of rat shit? He must be tired of living. Ha! A mere earth martial realm cultivator dares to be so arrogant. Qian Peng's eyes twitched and he laughed in anger. Brat, you have to pay the price for being arrogant. Before he finished speaking, Qian Peng suddenly charged out with icy true essence and sent a palm strike at Qin Yu's dantian. Looking at his posture, Qian Peng was planning to destroy Qin Yu's dantian and martial veins with one strike, making him a cripple for the rest of his life. You're courting death. Killing intent flashed in Qin Yu's eyes as he used the 100 shadow demonic step. Over 20 lifelike illusions appeared. 1,000 demon hands. Qian Peng was startled. He couldn't tell if those illusions were real or fake, so he could only use a wide-range attack. Incomparably violent true essence hands continuously slapped out in all directions. In an instant, all the illusions were shattered, but Qin Yu's true body was nowhere to be seen. This made Qian Peng's heart turn cold. Boom! In the next moment, a deep collision sound rang out. Qian Peng was sent flying 30 meters away as if he was hit by an ancient beast. He crashed into the wooden puppets. Those puppets, which were motionless, immediately moved and covered Qian Peng. Numerous miserable and painful howls continuously emitted from Qian Peng's mouth. He actually destroyed Qian Peng's martial veins? How ruthless! Who is this person? The 8 heaven martial realm cultivators stared blankly as a chill ran down their spines. Qin Yu, who was in the earth martial realm, defeated a half-step martial king with one punch. This was enough to shock them. However, Qin Yu showed no mercy and destroyed Qian Peng's martial veins. This made them feel even more terrified. Qian Peng was the heir of the Qianyuan Commandery Prince's mansion. Qin Yu actually dared to destroy him. Was he not afraid of the Qianyuan Commandery Prince's mansion taking revenge? Fortunately, they didn't provoke Qin Yu. Otherwise, they would have ended up worse than Qian Peng. Chapter 45. Qin Yu did not pay attention to them. When the 8 sky realm cultivators saw the puppets, they were all lured over by Qian Peng. His body flickered and he instantly passed through the puppet area and entered the 2nd floor. Damn it, I will definitely kill that bastard and wipe out his entire family. Why are you still standing there? Why aren't you saving me? I'm the heir of the Qianyuan Palace. If you don't save me, do you know what the consequences will be? Seeing that Qin Yu had left, Qian Peng, who was unceasingly letting out mournful cries, immediately roared at the 8 heaven stage experts. Although his martial vein was destroyed and his dantian's true essence was gone, the defensive spiritual armor on his body gave birth to a true essence shield that blocked the attacks of the puppets. When the 8 sky realm cultivators heard that, they looked at each other and planned to attack. The puppets on the 1st floor would not harm people's lives. If they did not attack now, there would be big trouble when Qian Peng looked into it in the future. Bang! But just as they were about to move, a violent explosion suddenly appeared in Qian Peng's body. A wave of berserk and destructive true essence wreaked havoc. Its power was so strong that even the sky realm puppets were directly blown to pieces. Hiss! The 8 sky realm cultivators all fiercely sucked in a breath of cold air and froze on the spot. They stared blankly at Qian Peng, who turned into a bloody mist and exploded. This was the backup plan that Qin Yu left behind. Since he already destroyed Qian Peng's martial vein, then Qin Yu naturally would not let Qian Peng live. On the second floor, Qin Yu arrived at an illusory space. These lifelike illusory spaces did not affect Qin Yu in the slightest, and he easily passed through them. After passing through the illusory space, Qin Yu arrived in front of an ancient palace. At that moment, there were already many martial kings and sky realm cultivators exploring the palace. After arriving at the second floor, the 100 cultivators that were separated from each other gradually started to meet up. Qin Yu did not have any interest in exploring the palace and directly headed to the third floor. Following that, the fourth floor, the fifth floor, the sixth floor, Qin Yu did not stop for a moment. There might be many treasures in the 7-star pagoda, but Qin Yu only cared about the Saint's soul. A few days ago, during the battle with the martial king, Qin Yu had consumed a lot of his soul. Now, he had not recovered much at all. He urgently needed that holy soul. Boom! A berserk-killing intent exploded as a martial emperor realm figure was smashed into pieces by Qin Yu's palm. At this point, Qin Yu had successfully passed the 7th stage. When he reached the top of the 7-star ancient pagoda, the scenery around him changed. Qin Yu arrived at an ancient cave. Inside the cave, there was a golden figure sitting with his legs crossed. 7 mysterious golden ancient talismans floated around the figure. That is, the eyes of Qin Yu and the dragon's soul flickered slightly when they saw the 7 ancient golden symbols. After waiting for hundreds of years, someone has finally come. At this moment, an aged voice came from the golden figure. Qin Yu sensed that a consciousness within the golden silhouette had awakened. Its gaze landed on him. Fated One, it's up to you whether you can obtain my succession. Come here, the aged voice said in a tempting tone. However, Qin Yu did not move. Instead, he burst out laughing. Why are you laughing? The elderly voice within the golden figure seemed to be a little puzzled. Nothing, I just feel that you're too unlucky. Qin Yu's eyes flickered as he looked at the golden figure. Too unlucky? The old voice was obviously startled. Of course, you've waited for hundreds of years, but I'm the one who has come. Qin Yu said with a smile. What do you mean? Don't you want to obtain my succession? The old voice sounded even more astonished. I'm not interested in your succession, but I can't let go of your saint's soul. As he spoke, Qin Yu started to form hand seals with his hands. A profound soul imprint started to condense between his brows. Soul-devouring art? Who are you? Why do you know such a forbidden evil art? The elderly voice suddenly became terrified. Even the golden light figure began to tremble violently, as if it would collapse at any moment. Although I don't know why you've given birth to a new consciousness after you passed away, I'll have to give up on your plan of being reincarnated. As soon as he finished speaking, the mysterious seal on Qin Yu's forehead shot into the golden figure at lightning speed. Amidst a terrified cry, the golden figure suddenly exploded, revealing a skeleton inside. The 7 golden ancient symbols flashed and merged with the skeleton, causing the skeleton to gradually shine with golden light, as if it was made of gold. Return. As Qin Yu's hand seal changed, the mysterious seal returned to his sea of soul with a golden saint's soul. The golden skeleton was indeed Wu Xing when he was alive. The 7-star ancient pagoda was also left behind by him. However, for some reason Wu Xing had given birth to a new consciousness after he passed away. Therefore, the 7-star ancient pagoda, which was originally used to leave behind his inheritance, had become his plan of being reincarnated. Unfortunately, he was too unlucky. The one who had come was Qin Yu. In the end, not only had his saint's soul been taken away, but his saint's soul had been completely destroyed. Qin Yu immediately sat down with his legs crossed and his consciousness sank into his sea of soul. Refine. With a thought, Qin Yu's soul power immediately turned into millions of evil dragons and pounced on the saint's soul. Immediately, the strong saint's soul was disintegrated and refined. Qin Yu's soul power, which had been greatly depleted, was quickly replenished. The aura on his body also became stronger. Time passed slowly. After 6 hours, a wave of soul power that seemed to have materialized rippled out from Qin Yu's body. If one could see through it, one would see that there was an additional gray soul seed in Qin Yu's sea of soul. He actually condensed a soul seed. Could it be that his soul power has awakened? The dragon soul in the ancient dragon god seal exclaimed in surprise when it sensed the fluctuation of soul power from Qin Yu. I've only awakened a single cycle of soul power. A smile appeared on Qin Yu's face. With his cultivation as a martial emperor from his previous life, it was easy to imagine how much his soul power had increased after awakening a single cycle of soul power. After all, martial monarchs had only just begun to awaken their soul power. They could only use it to sense. Only after reaching martial exalted level would they be able to use their soul power. If Qin Yu used his soul power to attack now, there would be no need for him to use the soul path secret technique. There would also be no aftereffect. This skeleton? Qin Yu, who had just stood up, suddenly looked at the skeleton that was shining with golden light. This is a puppet spirit artifact refined from Wu Xing's skeleton, the dragon soul said. However, its fighting power is very weak. It's only comparable to a rank 7 martial king. If Wu Xing's skeleton was refined properly, it could even reach the peak of his strength when he was alive. However, this Wu Xing skeleton only had the fighting power of a rank 7 martial king. From this, one could see how weak the refinement was. This should be something that the awakened consciousness refined on its own. Qin Yu examined the golden skeleton carefully. If a new consciousness was born from the skeleton, the consciousness would also die if the skeleton was reduced to dust before the possession. Thus, in order to prevent the consciousness from dissipating, it refined its skeleton into a puppet spirit artifact. There's still a lot of room for improvement. Not bad. After examining the skeleton, Qin Yu used his soul power to form a soul imprint on the skeleton. Da-da-da. Right at this moment, the sound of rushing wind could be heard. Following that, 8 figures rushed into the cave. Someone actually beat us to it. The treasure of the 7-star ancient pagoda must have fallen into his hands. When the 8 people that entered saw Qin Yu who had arrived first, their gazes all turned gloomy. Killing intent filled their eyes. Chapter 46. I never thought that someone would actually pass the 7th floor this year. Qin Yu was slightly surprised. The 7th floor of the 7-star ancient pagoda was easy for him. However, it was extremely difficult for other martial kings. Otherwise, it wouldn't have taken hundreds of years for someone to pass the 7th floor. Peak of the Earth martial realm? Brat, how did you get here? After seeing through Qin Yu's power level, the eyes of the handsome young man who is the leader of those 8 people are filled with killing intent. They had paid a huge price to reach the top floor. But in the end, an ant in the Earth martial realm had taken their peaches. Naturally, they couldn't accept it. Of course I walked all the way here. Qin Yu smiled as if he didn't see the killing intent in their eyes. The 8 of them were all in the martial king realm. The cultivation of the leading handsome young man was the strongest. He was a rank 5 martial king. As for the other 7 people, they were all rank 3 martial kings. Being able to reach this stage before the age of 20 was enough to show how talented they were. That means that the treasure on the top floor is also in your hands. The chilling killing intent on the bodies of the handsome young man and the other 7 grew even denser. I was just about to take it when you guys came up. Qin Yu waved his right hand and a 7-colored ancient token appeared in his hand. The fluctuation of that ancient token is exactly the same as the one in the 7-star ancient pagoda. The eyes of the 8 martial emperor realm cultivators were filled with greed after seeing the 7-colored ancient badge. Qin Yu gives a faint smile. He turns around and walks towards the depths of the cave where there is a rock wall flickering with a seven-colored light. He ignored the greed in the eyes of the 8 youths. "You're courting death. Kill him." That handsome youth's killing intent bursts out. Like an eagle soaring through the sky, he grabs at Chinyu with a violent killing intent. The 7 martial Emperor Realm cultivators followed closely behind, unleashing their raging true chi. Bang! 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 However, right at this moment, a golden light appeared before the 8 martial kings like a bolt of lightning. A series of explosions could be heard as the 8 martial Emperor Realm geniuses were knocked back. Shockingly, it was Wu Xing's skeleton that made the move. Rank 7 Martial King? True Kong Elemental Energy? When they saw the golden skeleton blocking their path, the expressions of the handsome young man and the others turned grave. The golden skeleton's cultivation was only 2 levels higher than theirs. However, the gap in their combat strength was incomparably huge and difficult to bridge. This golden skeleton wasn't just a puppet spirit artifact, it was more important. The true essence power of the puppet had already turned into true spirit energy. Could it be that this skeleton was a martial emperor when he was alive? The same thought appeared in the minds of the 8 martial king youths. After a martial artist enters the sky martial arts realm, their true chi turns into true essence. When he entered the martial king realm, his true essence would condense into an inner core, and his true essence would give birth to righteous force. Only when one reaches the martial emperor realm and awakens their soul power, will they be able to replace their true origin with true Kong origin energy. At this moment, Qin Yu held the 7-colored token and easily entered the 7-colored stone wall. Inside the stone wall was a simple and unadorned secret room. The secret room wasn't big, only about 10 feet wide. There were wooden shelves inside, on which there were cultivation techniques, martial techniques, secret manuals, etc. In addition, there were many spirit artifacts, the worst of which was a profound artifact. There were even a few Earth-rank spirit artifacts, but no Heaven-rank spirit artifact. Qin Yu swept everything clean. If these cultivation techniques, martial techniques, and spirit artifacts were brought back to the Qin clan, it would allow the Qin clan's foundation to reach the level of a super clan. Anyhow, this is Wu Xing. It can't be that he only has this much wealth. The dragon soul in the ancient dragon seal said. It is indeed strange. Qin Yu nodded slightly. He looked at the empty secret room and spread out his soul power. Secret compartment. Immediately, Qin Yu found a secret compartment in the secret room. After easily breaking through the seal formation array that was hidden above, Qin Yu opened the secret compartment. Heaven Grade 9. Qin Yu and the dragon soul's eyes lit up. In the secret compartment, there was a small 7-colored ancient pagoda. The 7-colored ancient pagoda was only the size of a palm, and it emitted 7-colored starlight. Its spiritual power was shocking. It was a heaven artifact, and a top grade 9 heaven artifact. It's a ceiling-type spiritual artifact. Qin Yu picked up the 7-star ancient pagoda and poured his true yuan into it. His face was filled with joy. Although the 7-star ancient pagoda couldn't increase one's offensive power, it could suppress an area. In other words, anyone who entered the area covered by the 7-star ancient pagoda would be greatly suppressed. The sealing ability of the 7-star ancient pagoda was even rarer and more terrifying than an offensive-type spiritual artifact. With a full harvest, Qin Yu left the private room contentedly. However, the moment he left the secret room, the space in the cave became distorted. In the next moment, Qin Yu appeared in a huge square. Other than Qin Yu, all the martial artists who entered the 7-star ancient pagoda appeared in the square. What happened? This seems to be the exit of the 7-star ancient pagoda? No way. Didn't they say that we have 3 days to explore? Yeah, it hasn't even been a day. The young martial artists who were teleported out of the seven-star ancient pagoda were confused and started to discuss among themselves. Qin Yu's expression changed slightly. He understood the reason. It was most likely because he had taken the seven-star ancient pagoda. It's time to leave, Qin Yu thought. A golden light flashed across the sky, and Wu Xing's skeleton flew toward him. It's flying that way. Get out of my way. Don't even think about running away. However, along with the martial saint's skeleton, there were also 8 aggressive young martial kings. That's Qi Changhong, the crown prince of the Scarlet Cloud Palace. Rumor has it that Crown Prince Qi Changhong has awakened a Grade 4 heavenly vein. He's a rare talent in the 100 Battles dynasty. That's weird. That brat is only in the Earth martial realm. Why would he be targeted by Crown Prince Qi Changhong? The surrounding young geniuses, including the martial Emperor realm geniuses, glanced toward them curiously. Brat, hand over the treasures in the 7-star ancient pagoda. Otherwise, don't even think about walking out of here alive. After Qi Changhong and the others appeared, they immediately split up and surrounded Qin Yu. Did he get the treasures in the 7-star ancient pagoda? That can't be. He's only in the Earth martial realm. How could he pass the test of the 7-star ancient pagoda? Look at that golden skeleton. It's a puppet, and it's a rank 7 martial king. Could it be that he relied on the golden skeleton to enter the 7th floor? Qi Changhong's words caused a commotion among the young prodigies in the surroundings. Numerous greedy and fiery gazes landed on Qin Yu's body. As the geniuses of the 100 Battles dynasty, they naturally wouldn't think much of a mere Earth martial realm cultivator. If it wasn't for Qi Changhong and the others from the Scarlet Cloud Palace, they would have already snatched the treasures. If you want to keep me here, we'll have to see if you have what it takes. Even though he was surrounded by numerous enemies, Qin Yu's expression was indifferent. He was not moved in the slightest. Chapter 47. A mere ant in the Earth martial realm. Do you think that I can't do anything to you with this golden skeleton? Qi Changhong sneered. I'll let you know that killing you is as easy as slaughtering a dog. The 7 martial king youths surrounding Qin Yu immediately pounced at the golden skeleton. At the same time, Qi Changhong's figure flickered and a fist of origin energy flew towards Qin Yu. Under normal circumstances, with his cultivation as a rank 5 martial king, he could kill an Earth martial realm cultivator with a wave of his hand. Unfortunately, the opponent that Qi Changhong encountered this time around was Qin Yu. Heh, let's see who's going to be slaughtered like a dog. A cold smile appeared on Qin Yu's face. A spiritual array disc appeared in his right palm. Taking a step forward, Qin Yu sent out a palm strike at the incoming Qi Changhong, which was covered in quintessence energy. Danger! Qi Changhong's expression changed and a chill appeared in his heart. He immediately retreated. At the same time, an ancient talisman appeared in his hand and turned into a thick shield. 100 Shadows' demonic footprints. However, Qin Yu seemed to have sensed his movements in advance. Numerous afterimages appeared and chased after him like lightning. Boom! Under Qi Changhong's terrified and despairing gaze, a monstrous destructive killing intent instantly swallowed him up like a divine dragon that could destroy the world. The surrounding geniuses were all dumbfounded. The genius who had awakened a rank 4 heavenly vein and whose name shook the 100 Battles dynasty disappeared before their eyes. Furthermore, the killing intent didn't diminish in the slightest. It continued forward and killed the 3 martial king cultivators who were attacking Wu Xing's skeleton. Whoosh! In an instant, the surrounding young geniuses came to their senses and hurriedly retreated far away. The greed and fiery passion in his eyes had completely disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by deep fear and alarm. A single palm strike killed a rank 5 martial king and 3 rank 3 martial kings. Was this something an Earth martial realm cultivator could do? Not to mention Earth Martial Realm cultivators, even Martial King cultivators wouldn't be able to do this. Only a Martial Emperor could have such a shocking combat strength. Crown Prince. Let's go. The faces of the 4 surviving Martial Kings paled when they saw Qi Changhong's corpse. As Qi Changhong's personal bodyguards, they would not be able to escape the wrath of the king's manor if Qi Changhong died. But now, if he continued to stay here, he would immediately be killed by Qin Yu. Qin Yu's figure flashed. He grabbed Wu Xing's skeleton and chased after them. Boom! Boom! Under the terrifying, destructive, murderous intent, 3 more of the 4 Martial Emperor Realm cultivators were killed. However, one of them used a powerful secret technique and flashed out of the square. You sure run fast. Qin Yu raised his eyebrows and descended from the sky. He put away Wu Xing's skeleton and strode out of the square. After passing through the light screen at the edge of the plaza, Qin Yu appeared in Heavenly Star City. But as soon as he appeared, a terrifying murderous intent pressed down on him. Qin Yu looked up and saw several figures with powerful auras standing in the air in Heavenly Star City. Their murderous intents were locked on him. The insignia on their bodies indicated that they were from the Celestial Star Commandery Prince's mansion. They were all martial kings, and the stronger ones were even martial emperors. There is no Jiang Dali in the giant spirit sect. Who are you? Where is my little brother? Xing Yufeng, the leader, stepped out in the air and stared coldly at Qin Yu. You found out so quickly? Qin Yu was slightly surprised. Looking at the scorching sun in the sky, it was only 10 o'clock in the morning. It had only been a little more than a night since he entered the 7-star ancient pagoda. The Heavenly Star Duke's manor acted a little too quickly. Qin Yu did not know that before the people from the Heavenly Star Duke's manor went to the Giant Spirit Sect to investigate, they met the elders of the Giant Spirit Sect in Heavenly Star City. With Qin Yu's cultivation and talent, he only needed to ask once to immediately know that it was a fake identity. You don't need to know who I am. As for your little brother, I'm sorry, but he has already died in my hands. Qin Yu spread out his hands. I didn't want to kill him, but he asked for it. Little bastard, how dare you kill my little brother? Hearing this, Xing Yufeng's face twisted hideously. I will exterminate your 9 generations and tear you into pieces. Kill! Practically at the same time Xing Yufeng gave the order, the martial monarchs and martial kings in the sky had already made their move. Many horrifying quintessence attacks exploded like a violent storm. Just in time. 7-star ancient pagoda, seal it. Since Qin Yu dared to admit it in front of everyone, he naturally had enough confidence. A 7-colored starlight suddenly appeared, and the 7-star ancient pagoda rose into the air. It turned into an ancient pagoda that was 100 feet tall, standing tall in the air. The 7-colored starlight carried with it a surging spiritual power. It was mighty and overflowed, suppressing everything. After the martial emperors and martial kings were enveloped by the 7-colored starlight of the 7-star ancient pagoda, they felt as if they had fallen into a quagmire, and their speed was greatly reduced. More importantly, their combat strength was suppressed by nearly 30% at this moment. The power is not bad. Qin Yu's eyes lit up. If they were at the same level, and their combat strength was suppressed by 30%, they would be completely crushed. More importantly, Qin Yu was only in the Earth martial arts realm, so he could not completely unleash the power of the 7-star ancient pagoda. When his cultivation became stronger, the sealing power of the 7-star ancient pagoda would definitely be more powerful. If you want to tear me into pieces and exterminate my 9 generations, I will send you out of the way first. Seeing that the martial kings and martial emperors were about to rush out of the 7-colored starlight, Qin Yu's eyes turned cold. Boom, boom, boom. Immediately, Qin Yu used his powerful soul perception to avoid the violent attacks and immediately used the 100 shadow demonic step. As dozens of shadows flashed through the void, the martial emperors and martial kings whose speed was suppressed could only watch helplessly as the incomparably terrifying killing intent rushed towards them with unstoppable force. In the blink of an eye, all the strong cultivators were reduced to ashes. The martial emperors and martial kings were as weak as ants. Hiss! The martial kings and martial emperors who were watching the battle from afar saw Qin Yu, who was like a god of death descending into the world. Their faces were pale, and their bodies were emitting cold air. What did they see? Martial emperors and martial kings were killed in the blink of an eye? Who exactly was that earth martial arts realm youth? Could he be a martial honorable? There are only 9 strands of heaven punishing killing intent left. Within the ancient dragon seal, the dragon soul reminded Qin Yu. The previous continuous battles had consumed a lot of heaven-punishing killing intent. 9 strands is enough? Hearing that, Qin Yu indifferently looked to the deathly pale and incomparably frightened Xing Yufeng. Who dares to be impudent in my heavenly star city? Right at the moment when Qin Yu fixed his eyes on Xing Yufeng, an imposing and vast loud shout suddenly exploded in the horizon. Martial Honorable! Qin Yu's eyes flashed. He couldn't be bothered to attack Xing Yufeng. He called back the 7-star ancient pagoda and took Wu Xing's corpse out of Heavenly Star City. The current him couldn't deal with a martial honorable. The surviving martial emperors and martial kings did not dare to step forward to stop Qin Yu. They could only watch as Qin Yu swaggered off. Whoosh! Almost at the same time, a destructive tornado appeared, and a figure appeared in the battlefield. It was a man wearing a long green robe and emitting a terrifying and majestic aura. Chapter 48. Father! Seeing the man in the green robe, Xing Yufeng, who was originally terrified, immediately went up to him. This man was the Lord of Sky Star County, the Sky Star Commandery Prince. He was also the only martial venerable expert in Sky Star County. What's going on? The Sky Star Commandery Prince, who had just come out of seclusion, saw the broken bodies on the ground. His face suddenly darkened, and a terrifying aura shrouded the entire Sky Star County. The martial artists in the city were all terrified, as if they were being stared at by a peerless, ferocious beast. Seeing this, Xing Yufeng immediately explained what had happened. Before Xing Yufeng could finish, the Sky Star Commandery Prince's face darkened, and a murderous aura filled the air. A majestic soul power swept out, and in a flash, he rushed out of Sky Star County. Surprisingly, that direction was precisely the direction that Qin Yu had fled to. Xing Yufeng and the other martial artists of the Sky Star Commandery Prince's mansion hurriedly broke through the wind and flew away. The onlooking martial artists also followed one after another. However, when Xing Yufeng and the others caught up with the Sky Star Commandery Prince, they saw him standing on a mountain peak, motionless, with a ghastly expression. On the mountain peak there was a mysterious and complex array on a huge stone open space. Some of the martial artists who were proficient in arrays could tell at a glance that it was a teleportation array. However, when they saw that the teleportation array was broken, they knew that it could no longer be used. What a shrewd person! When the martial artists who were chasing after him saw this, they could not help but feel a chill in their hearts. This was a backup plan that had long been prepared to escape, so the Sky Star Commandery Prince's mansion could not chase after him. I've issued a must-kill order. Whoever brings me his head will be rewarded with 10 million spiritual stones. The Sky Star Commandery Prince's words were chilling to the bone. The little prince had been killed, the treasures in the 7-star pagoda had been taken away, and the murderer had escaped unscathed. This time, the Sky Star Commandery Prince's mansion had lost all its face. In just a few hours, Qin Yu's disguise and characteristics had been completely spread throughout the Baijian dynasty. Half a day later, the Commandery Prince's mansion of Qiyun, which was more powerful than the Commandery Prince's mansion of the Celestial Star Commandery Prince's mansion, also issued an arrest warrant for Qin Yu. This made Qin Yu, who was only at the peak of the Earth martial realm, become a hot topic in the Hundred Battles dynasty. There were all kinds of rumors about him. It was so much so that even the neighboring empires had heard of Qin Yu's deeds. However, it was a pity that Qin Yu had completely disappeared after that and never appeared again. Half a month later, at the border of the Zhenwu dynasty. Boom! Within a hidden cave, Qin Yu, who was originally sitting cross-legged with his hands forming hand seals, suddenly emitted a solid blade-like energy that swept out with a loud bang. Crack, crack, crack. The cave shook violently, and cracks appeared on the walls of the cave. In the next moment, Qin Yu's qi and blood surged as a massive qi and blood dragon vaguely condensed behind him. It raised its head and let out a soundless roar, exuding a supreme dragon's might. Sky Realm. Qin Yu opened his eyes. A golden dragon's silhouette flashed through his eyes in an instant. After half a month of closed-door cultivation, Qin Yu had finally refined all the genuine qi in his body into genuine origin. Qin Yu opened his 5 fingers, and a battle dragon genuine origin appeared in his palm. However, Qin Yu's genuine origin carried a dark power. This was Qin Yu's dark devouring attribute. After entering the sky martial realm, Qin Yu's dark devouring attribute had become stronger and stronger. If a sky martial realm cultivator of the same level fought with him, more than half of his genuine origin would be devoured. During the transformation of his cultivation, the awakened dragon blood in Qin Yu's body also changed a lot. It kept merging with his flesh and bones, making the dragon blood qi in his body stronger and stronger. It's almost time to return to the Saint Academy. Calculating the time, it had been more than a month since he came out to carry out the mission of the Saint Academy. After leaving the cave, Qin Yu left the barren mountain where he was and walked toward the true martial imperial city. In order to prevent being tracked, Qin Yu did not leave through the Shadow Moon mountain range after being teleported away from the Heavenly Star County. Instead, he went around the Shadow Moon mountain range and hid in this barren mountain range. Rumble. 2 days later, Qin Yu, who was hurrying on his way, suddenly heard a shocking explosion in the distance. Qin Yu stopped for a moment and took out Wu Xing's skeleton. He flew into the air and looked into the distance. In the distance, billowing smoke rose into the sky, and countless flames splashed in all directions like fireworks. Volcano. Qin Yu's eyes lit up. What good luck! The dragon's soul grinned. Qin Yu's fire-thunder dragon body needed to be tempered by fire and thunder. This volcanic eruption was a good opportunity to temper it. Immediately, Qin Yu landed on the ground, put away the ancient saint's skeleton, and quickly ran into the distance. Wu Xing's skeleton had been seen by many warriors in the Heavenly Star County. Although Qin Yu had already returned to the true martial dynasty's territory, he still would not use it easily. If the Heavenly Star County and the Qiyun County knew his true identity, there would be a lot of trouble. The 2 county kings' mansions, which had martial venerables, were not a joke. Qin Yu, who was running at full speed using the 100 Shadows demonic steps, finally saw that 10,000 feet large volcano after flying for over 2 hours. At this time, the volcano had calmed down. The area within a radius of hundreds of miles around the volcano had been turned into ruins by the eruption of magma and fire stones. However, to Qin Yu's surprise, there were many figures in the ruins, as if they were collecting fire stones. When Qin Yu approached, he found that the people in the ruins were ordinary people. Only a few of them had cultivation, and there were even many old people and children among them. Qin Yu glanced at them and recognized them. These people, who were dressed in rags, were obviously mining slaves. Now, they were obviously looking for the volcanic ores that had been spewed out with the eruption of magma. Under the high temperature of the flaming ores, the mining slaves were sweating profusely. Many of them even had obvious burn marks on their bodies. However, they did not dare to stop at all and shuttled back and forth in the flaming area. Keep your spirits up. Whoever misses a piece of fire iron ore, I'll break their legs. Why are you all so slow? A bunch of useless rice buckets, you only know how to eat every day. Whoever dares to be lazy, I will whip him to death. Curses could be heard one after another. From time to time, the sound of whips lashing out and painful howls could be heard. Qin Yu tilted his head and saw a few warriors in the Xian martial realm, holding long whips, walking back and forth among the mining slaves. From time to time, they would whip those miners fiercely. Most of the absentee workers had bloody whip wounds on their bodies. Even the elderly and children had such wounds. What are you thinking about? Seeing Qin Yu standing still, the dragon soul asked with some doubts. Nothing. Qin Yu came back to his senses and waved away the memories of his childhood in his previous life. He retracted his gaze and planned to climb the volcano. Bang! However, at this time, a hunched and withered old man, carrying a basket of flaming ores, accidentally fell to the ground and the ores in the basket scattered on the ground. Chapter 49. Damned old thing, it's your fault again. I'll whip you to death today. When a profound martial realm supervisor saw this, he immediately walked over fiercely and lashed out with his whip, as if he was going to beat him to death. The old man howled in pain as he rolled back and forth on the ground. Grandfather! Don't hit my grandfather! At this moment 2 anxious voices sounded. 2 thin and small figures hurriedly threw down the oars in their hands and ran over with crying voices. The 2 figures were a 7 or 8-year-old boy and girl. What are you doing? You 2 little bastards, are you trying to rebel? When the profound martial realm supervisor saw that the little boy and girl were still running over, his face revealed a sinister killing intent. Since you're tired of living, then I'll fulfill your wish. As soon as he finished speaking, the whip in his hand surged with true qi. Like a poisonous snake coming out of its hole, it viciously pounced towards the 2 children. Looking at the power of the whip, if they were hit, they would die without a doubt. Don't come over. The old man covered in wounds wanted to stop it, but he couldn't even stand up. He could only watch as the true Qi whip approached the 2 children with tears in his eyes. When the other profound martial realm saw this, they crossed their arms in front of their chests as if they were watching a good show. Whoosh! Just as the true Qi whip was about to hit the 2 children, a sharp sound rang out. A sharp sound pierced through the air as a small stone struck the whip, causing it to miss. Who is it? The profound martial realm was startled and then became furious. His killing intent swept across the surrounding cultivators before finally landing on Qin Yu. Little bastard, was it you who launched a sneak attack? The profound martial realm's face was incomparably gloomy as he stared at Qin Yu with cold, killing intent. When the other profound martial realm supervisors saw this, they also gathered with unfriendly expressions. Qin Yu's gaze turned cold as killing intent surged in his heart. Within the divine dragon ancient seal, the dragon soul was slightly surprised. Qin Yu actually had killing intent. Was it because of those 2 children? Reckless dog, you dare to sneak attack me? See if I don't whip you to death. The face of the profound martial realm that was hit by the stone was dark and cold. Wait, Lama. Many of my slave miners have been killed recently. Ask him where he came from and capture his whole family as mine slaves. At that moment, a sturdy profound martial realm cultivator seemed to have thought of something and quickly said, "Why don't you take it easy? It hasn't even been a month and you've already killed dozens of people. Be careful that you don't complete the mission on time." A Xian martial realm cultivator laughed. Hee, they're just lowly commoners. We can capture as many as we want. What's the big deal about beating a few dozen of them to death? Our Lei family is now a relative of the Emperor. That strong cultivator of the Xian martial realm burst into loud laughter. He didn't care about the lives of the slaves at all. Don't worry. Since he dared to ambush me, even death by 1,000 cuts wouldn't be enough to appease the hatred in my heart. How could I let him die so easily? The profound martial realm cultivator's expression became even more sinister. Whoosh! The whip in the profound martial realm cultivator's hand was covered in chi, and it was like an arrow piercing through the air as it flew towards Qin Yu's head. When the other slaves saw this, they couldn't help but turn their heads away. They had seen many people being whipped by a profound martial realm cultivator. That youth probably wouldn't be able to escape death. Boom! An explosion sound was heard. However, the scene of Qin Yu's head exploding as everyone expected did not appear. At the moment when that whip was about to hit Qin Yu, it suddenly exploded. What's going on? That Xian martial stage expert holding the tail of the whip is startled and looks at Qin Yu in a daze. The other profound martial realm supervisors also didn't react. Whoosh! At this moment, Qin Yu made his move. He pointed his finger at the profound martial realm supervisor, and a faint black origin energy flashed in the air and entered the profound martial realm's body. What is this? It hurts. Save me. The profound martial realm cultivator's body trembled as he suddenly let out a miserable howl. His entire body turned red at this moment. There seemed to be countless insects crawling under his skin as his face became sinister. His hands were constantly scratching his face, as if he wanted to pull something out of his body. However, he only left behind a trail of blood. You? What did you do to him? The faces of the profound martial realm cultivators changed as they looked at Qin Yu with fear. They originally thought that Qin Yu was just an ordinary youth that could only be dealt with as they wished. But now, it seemed that this handsome youth wasn't as simple as he seemed. He wanted to kill me, so I made him wish he was dead. That's all. Qin Yu said with an indifferent voice. Do you know who we are? We are from the Flaming Cloud City's Lei family. Our young miss is the wife of the second prince. If you dare to kill someone from the Lei family, then wait for your entire family to be annihilated. The burly profound martial realm supervisor felt a chill run down his spine. He could tell how much pain the lightning horse was suffering from just by hearing its miserable cries. Flaming Cloud City's Lei family? Second prince? I've never heard of it. However, I'm not happy with what you said. Qin Yu flicked his finger and a faint black origin energy entered the burly profound martial realm supervisor's body. Immediately, the burly profound martial realm supervisor crawled like a worm as his miserable howl resounded through the sky. Not good. Run. When the other profound martial realms saw this, their faces changed and they immediately ran. No matter how blind they were, they knew that Qin Yu's strength far surpassed theirs. Otherwise, it was impossible for him to cripple two profound martial realms with just a flick of his finger. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The moment the profound martial realm supervisors moved, streams of origin energy broke through the void and ended their lives. What strength! The slave miners, who thought that Qin Yu was dead for sure, were all dumbfounded. He actually killed those ferocious profound martial realm supervisors with just a flick of his finger? Big brother, thank you. The little boy and girl helped the old man up. Their eyes were filled with yearning. Here's some money. Take it and leave this place as soon as possible. Qin Yu flicked his finger and a small amount of money appeared. Now that the supervisors were dead, the Lei family behind them would definitely not let this matter rest. The other slave miners might be able to escape this calamity, but the old man and the other two wouldn't be able to escape this calamity. And you guys, if anyone investigates this matter, tell them that the one who killed them is Qin Yu from the Dragon Spirit City's Qin family. Qin Yu said to the slave miners, who were still in a daze, before he headed for the volcano that was emitting shocking fire runes. Although the Flaming Cloud City's Lei family seemed to have some relationship with the royal family, Qin Yu wasn't worried about the Qin family's safety with Master Guan in the Dragon Spirit City. You are a little strange? The dragon's soul asked Qin Yu in astonishment. In his impression, Qin Yu never meddled in other people's business. But today, he had the intention to kill for these slave miners. It was simply too abnormal. Chapter 50. Qin Yu's style of doing things in the heaven realm had always been to do as he pleased. It could be said that he was both good and evil. In the past, countless disasters had happened in the heaven realm, and countless lives had been lost, but Qin Yu had never wavered. So why was he sympathizing with these slave miners today? It's nothing. It's just that seeing them reminded me of my past life situation with Xing Luo when I was young. Qin Yu shook his head slightly. Situation when you were young? Were you also slave miners when you were young? The dragon soul asked with interest. When Qin Yu had cultivated its intelligence, Qin Yu had already become the famous Shenron Great Emperor, and Xing Luo had also become the Mad Dragon Great Emperor. Later on, the two of them advanced even further, reaching the Emperor realm. The dragon soul was very curious about what Qin Yu and Xing Luo were like when they were young. Not slave miners, but herb slaves. The dragon soul was stunned. What was a herb slave? A herb slave was a slave that specialized in testing medicine for alchemists and herb collectors. A newly discovered herb or a new pill had to be tested by someone to know its specific effect. That was why herb slaves were called herb slaves. The mortality rate of herb slaves was much higher than that of slave miners. Qin Yu was born as a herb slave, but he was able to become the Dragon God Emperor. One could imagine how difficult it was for him. No wonder you couldn't believe it even after Xing Luo attacked you. The dragon soul understood why Qin Yu trusted Xing Luo so much in his past life. It also understood why Qin Yu pursued martial arts wholeheartedly. Now that I think about it, my past life was really laughable. Qin Yu laughed self-deprecatingly. In his past life, he treated Xing Luo as his brother, but he was betrayed and fell to his current state. In order to pursue stronger martial arts, he chose to ignore Fairy Xuelan's feelings. In the end, he regretted it now. As long as I'm not dead, the regrets of my past life can be made up for in this life. The dragon soul could understand Qin Yu's thoughts. That's true. Qin Yu regained his usual calmness and spread out his soul perception. Soon, he found a passage into the volcano. Looking at the tunnel, it seemed that it was dug out by the slave miners. With a flicker, Qin Yu disappeared into the tunnel, heading deeper into the volcano. The volcano had just erupted, and the heat waves it emitted were like flames. Ordinary people would not be able to enter. Relying on his soul perception, Qin Yu arrived at the bottom of the volcano and saw the violently churning lava. Perfect! Qin Yu narrowed his eyes, and after a thin layer of true essence covered his body, he directly stepped into the lava lake and sat down cross-legged, with only his head exposed outside. Previously in the fog swamp, Qin Yu's cultivation base was not high enough, so he only dared to absorb the earth-fire qi. But now it was different. Zhen Qi had already transformed into Zhen Yuan, and the power of the two could not be compared. The current Qin Yu was completely capable of directly entering the magma fire lake to temper his body to the greatest extent. In the blink of an eye, Qin Yu's face turned red, and white mist rose from his head. It was easy to imagine the kind of pain one would have to endure if one were to directly enter the magma fire pool. Even if Qin Yu's fire lightning dragon physique had reached the first level, he would still be unable to endure it. However, Qin Yu's expression did not change in the slightest, as if he did not feel the intense pain coming from his body. As Qin Yu continued to circulate the fire lightning dragon physique, strands of astonishing flame aura surged back and forth in his flesh, bones, meridians, and organs, quietly fusing together. The blood aura on Qin Yu's body clearly became stronger a day later. When Qin Yu was training in the magma fire pond in this volcanic region, Qin Yu was in a daze. The Lei family already knew that the profound martial realm supervisors had been killed. A large group of Earth martial realm and Sky martial realm warriors of the Lei family whistled over. Ninth Elder, The matter has been investigated clearly. The person who killed the supervisors is said to be from the Dragon Spirit City's Qin family, a brat called the Qin family. However, I've heard of the Dragon Spirit City. It's only a small city. That brat killed people and still dared to leave his name, so it might be fake. On the empty ground of the lava lake, an Earth Martial Realm warrior respectfully reported to an old man in the Heaven Martial Realm. In front of the old man in the Heaven Martial Realm were the profound Martial Realm supervisors whose heads were pierced through. There were also 2 corpses that were covered with bloody claw marks. Their faces were sinister and twisted, but there was also a hint of relief. Didn't they say that the brat never came out after entering the double-headed volcano? Have you found him? The old man in the Heaven Martial Realm asked with a cold expression. We've searched all the ore tunnels, but we didn't find any traces. Unless he hid at the bottom of the volcano, but right now, even Heaven Martial Realm warriors cannot stay there for long. The Earth Martial Realm warrior shook his head. From his point of view, since he dared to kill people from the Lei family, he must have escaped long ago. How could he still stay there and seek his own death? But he didn't expect that not only did Qin Yu enter the bottom of the volcano, he even hid in the lava lake to cultivate. Issue an arrest warrant and capture the 3 slave miners that escaped. Also, send someone to the Dragon Spirit City to investigate the identity of this Qin Yu. The old man in the Heaven Martial Realm eerily gave the order. Then Ninth Elder, how should we deal with these slave miners? The brawny man in the Earth Martial Arts Realm looked at the shivering slaves and asked. A group of lowly slave miners actually caused the death of several clansmen of my Lei family. Execute them all. The Ninth Elder threw down those words with dense killing intent and mounted his horse. Understood. The Earth Martial Realm warrior revealed a sinister smile. Time passed day by day. After 12 days, a boundless aura exploded from Qin Yu, who was sitting cross-legged in the lava. The surrounding magma was instantly swept away and pushed away. Qin Yu's true body was revealed. At this time, Qin Yu's skin turned light red with a hint of gold. Even faintly, one could see a mysterious flame spirit pattern appearing. 4th Revolution Fire Thunder Dragon Body. Qin Yu opened his eyes. Golden light flickered in his pitch-black eyes. In these 12 days of cultivation, his Fire Thunder Dragon body had directly broken through to the 3rd level, and his physical strength had reached a terrifying 400,000 gene. More importantly, he had also condensed a fire pattern, which would allow his physical defense to reach a level where it could resist ordinary spirit artifacts. The Fire Dragon pattern has already been condensed. The Fire Thunder Dragon body's cultivation will need to be tempered by thunder. The Dragon Soul's voice was also filled with joy. The Fire Thunder Dragon body had a total of 10 levels, and the power of fire and thunder each had 5 levels. If one wanted to cultivate to the peak, they had to combine fire and thunder. Indeed, it's already very difficult to reach the 5th level with just the power of fire. Qin Yu leaped and left the lava. Then, he took out a set of clothes from the Summer ring and put them on. If he wanted to completely condense the Fire Dragon pattern, he had to fuse with the power of thunder. Just like if he wanted to condense the Thunder Dragon pattern, he had to absorb the power of fire. Therefore, if Qin Yu continued to cultivate, it would be difficult for him to make any progress in the tempering of the Fire Thunder Dragon body. Qin Yu, who had just come out of the volcano's passage, suddenly narrowed his eyes. In the open space in front of him, there were figures tied to wooden stakes. Chapter 51. Could it be? Qin Yu's eyebrows twitched slightly as he leaped over and stopped moving. He saw that those who were tied to the wooden stakes were indeed the slave miners. They all died from exposure after their limbs were broken. The Dragon's soul took a look and said, "It seems that this is revenge for you torturing the Tuxian martial realm." His gaze swept across the faces of the dead slave miners. Qin Yu's eyes flickered with a cold light. At this moment, a burst of weak footsteps entered Qin Yu's ears. After Qin Yu tilted his head to take a look, he discovered that a thin and small figure was stumbling out of the volcanic tunnel he had just come out from. After looking carefully, Qin Yu was a little surprised. That skinny figure was that little girl. The problem was that when Qin Yu came out, he subconsciously used his soul force to sense. Why didn't he find the little girl before? With a flash, Qin Yu's figure appeared in front of that little girl while leaving behind numerous afterimages. Save, the little girl was extremely weak. When she saw Qin Yu, she seemed to have exhausted her last bit of strength and fainted on the ground. After Qin Yu checked, he found that the little girl had fainted because of dehydration and hunger. She seems to have been waiting for you in this volcanic passage. But how did she know that you didn't leave? The dragon soul also looked at the little girl in surprise. Soul force. Qin Yu carefully sensed and his eyes flashed with surprise. This little girl's soul sea had actually awakened. Is it a special physique? The dragon soul's eyes flashed with light. Without a trace of cultivation, the soul sea had awakened. This could only be because she had a special physique. The soul fluctuations are quite unstable. It seems that she has just awakened not long ago. Qin Yu thought for a moment and pointed at the little girl's forehead to stabilize her soul sea. Half a day later, in an empty cave, Qin Yu, who was meditating cross-legged, had a slight change in expression. The unconscious little girl slowly woke up. Big brother! The little girl opened her eyes in a daze. When she saw Qin Yu beside her, she immediately woke up. Big brother, I beg you, please save my brother! I beg you! The little girl knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing to Qin Yu. What happened? Qin Yu helped her up and asked. From the little girl's anxious voice, Qin Yu figured out the whole story. That day, after Qin Yu had saved them, they had intended to leave the Lei family's territory immediately. But halfway through, her grandfather fell ill, so he went to the clinic to get medicine, leaving traces behind. In the end, on the second night, they were caught up by the Lei clan's troop. Her grandfather was executed directly. In order to let her escape, her brother lured away the pursuers. However, he was caught on the way, but he wasn't killed on the spot. He was only brought back to the Lei family. With no one to rely on, she could only return to the volcano to see if Qin Yu had left. In the end, although she could sense that Qin Yu was in the volcanic area, she was unable to enter the volcanic area due to her lack of cultivation. She could only hide in the volcanic tunnel. Seems like he was stimulated, causing his soul sea to awaken. The dragon's soul was enlightened. Such a situation had happened before. Big brother, my brother is still alive. I beg you, please save my brother. After the little girl finished speaking, she kowtowed again. Her forehead was soon stained with blood. At this moment, the only person that she could pray to was the Qin Yu before her. I will make a trip to the Lei family, but so many days have passed. I'm afraid your brother. Looking at the little girl's pleading eyes, Qin Yu recalled the scene in his previous life where he begged his master to save Xinglu. My brother is still alive, I can feel it. Hearing that Qin Yu was willing to go to the Lei family, the little girl cried tears of joy and immediately said, You can feel it? How can you feel it? Qin Yu and the dragon soul were a little strange. Although they didn't know where the Lei family was, at the very least, it wasn't within the range of Qin Yu's spiritual perception. This little girl had just awakened her soul sea. Could it be that she was stronger than him, who had awakened his soul sea? I can't explain it clearly. I can feel my brother's heartbeat. Although it's very weak, my brother is still alive. The little girl said in a daze. Other than your brother, can you feel anyone else? Qin Yu was stunned and asked. I can feel it. The little girl nodded. It was because of this that she avoided the Lei family's pursuit time again, and returned to this volcano to find Qin Yu. There's something strange. The dragon soul's huge dragon eyes flickered with a deep light as it sized up the little girl. All right, you stay here first. Before I return, don't go anywhere. Qin Yu thought for a while, and set up a soul-bewitching array at the entrance of the cave. Immediately, Qin Yu ran in the direction that the little girl said, where the Lei family was. An hour later, Qin Yu appeared in front of an ancient city. That was Flaming Cloud City. Originally, Flaming Cloud City had 5 martial arts families gathered together. But now, only the Lei family was the strongest. As for the reason, it was because the Lei family had climbed up to the second prince of the imperial family and became a relative of the imperial family. Now, the Lei family's mining slaves and other slaves basically came from the other 4 families, as well as those who were unwilling to submit to the Lei family. Qin Yu strolled around the city. After understanding the Lei family's strength, he directly came to the Lei family in the center of the city. Halt! Who are you? How dare you barge into my Lei family? Seeing Qin Yu walk towards them, the 4 Xian martial realm guards immediately went up to welcome him. I have something to discuss with your patriarch, Qin Yu said indifferently. Ha, you want to see our patriarch? Who do you think you are? Hurry up and scram, or I'll kill you. The 4 Xian martial realm guards glanced at Qin Yu with disdain and waved their hands impatiently. Qin Yu's gaze turned cold as a tyrannical pressure exploded out. The 4 Xian martial realm guards' faces changed as they broke out in a cold sweat. Their legs went soft and they fell to the ground. You dare to commit murder in my Lei family? How dare you? The slightly stronger guard looked at the guards and got up. His face alternated between green and red as killing intent lingered in his eyes. Ever since they had climbed up to the second prince, even those powerful forces in the Zhen Wu dynasty had to be polite when they came to their Lei family. This little bastard that came out of nowhere actually dared to scare them. He was simply tired of living. What happened? Following the shout of the guard, the Lei family martialists appeared one by one. The one leading them was a middle-aged man with hazy eyes. His cultivation was at the 4th grade Earth martial realm. Great Commander, I don't know where this little bastard came from. Not only did he want to barge into the family, he even injured our brothers. I suspect that he's a remnant of one of the 4 families. The guard at the door said in a sinister tone. Aren't you too arrogant to injure our Lei family guards in front of our Lei family? That level 4 Earth martial stage guard commander stares at Qin Yu with a sinister look. At such a young age, he was able to defeat 4 Xian martial realm guards. He wasn't weak and probably had some background, but since he dared to touch the Lei family, even if he had some background, he wouldn't be able to leave safely. Chapter 52. Injured? More accurately, he was paralyzed by fear. As Qin Yu spoke, his soul power had already spread out in the Lei family. He's actually still alive. Very quickly, Qin Yu sensed the little boy's aura in the backyard of the Lei family. From what he sensed, he should also be tied to a wooden stake. These 2 siblings are a little strange. Within the divine dragon ancient seal, the dragon soul's voice froze when it heard Qin Yu's words. Rather strange indeed. A strange look flashed across Qin Yu's eyes. One could feel the heartbeat of his elder brother from a few hundred miles away. The other was tied to a wooden stake for more than 10 days, yet he was still alive. His vitality was simply too strong. You? Hearing the words paralyzed by fear, the guard's face turned hot and his gaze became gloomy and resentful. From the looks of it, he couldn't wait to tear Qin Yu into pieces. May I know who you are? Why are you looking for my patriarch? A cold light flashed across the guard's eyes as he inquired about Qin Yu's identity. I'm Qin Yu, Qin Yu said faintly. I'm here to see your patriarch to ask for a person. Qin Yu. The guard commander was stunned for a moment before he regained his senses. You are the one who killed my Lei family? A few days ago, the supervisor of the Lei family's slaves was killed, and the murderer was called Qin Yu. But the elder that they sent to the spiritual dragon city was directly beaten out. They were just thinking about how to take revenge on the Qin family, but they didn't expect Qin Yu to deliver himself to their doorstep. Men, arrest him for me. Immediately, a ferocious killing intent appeared on the guard's face as he prepared to give the order. But before he finished his words, he saw Qin Yu's figure flicker and disappear in front of them. Where is he? The Lei family guards looked at each other with confused expressions on their faces. Hurry up and inform the family head and elders. Then, send someone to seal off the execution ground. That guard commander recalled Qin Yu's words and immediately reacted. He rapidly rushed toward the execution grounds. In the blink of an eye, the entire Lei family was in an uproar. All the martial artists gathered at the execution ground. Someone broke into the execution grounds? In the main hall of the Lei family patriarch, Lei Zongguang, was stunned when he heard the maid's report. After using bloody means to suppress the enemy forces, there was still someone who dared to barge into the Lei family? Lei family head, do you need our help? Lei Zongguang was entertaining two young men in their 20s. The two young men were wearing the uniform of the Imperial Academy, and the insignia on their bodies indicated that they were students of the Inner Academy. These two were both martial kings. Haha, young Master Xianfang, young Master Baiyang, it was all thanks to the two of you that we were able to quell the chaos previously. How could we trouble the two of you for such a small matter? Lei Zongguang chuckled and cupped his fist. His attitude was rather amiable. These two were the young talents of the Sacred Academy sent by the second prince, so he naturally didn't dare to order them around. However, I would like to see who dares to barge into the Lei family at this time. Although Lei Zongguang was smiling, his eyes were flashing with ferocious killing intent. Now was the time for the Lei family to establish their dominance. Whoever dared to provoke the Lei family at this time, no matter who it was, they couldn't be let off. Since that's the case, let's go take a look together. The square-faced Xianfang stood up with a face full of smiles. That's true. After we settle the matters of the Dragon Spirit City's Qin family, we will return to the Sacred Academy directly. If there's really something, let's clean it up before heading to the Dragon Spirit City. Bai Yang, who had pockmarks on his face, also stood up. This mission was personally sent by the second prince, so they naturally couldn't be careless. Lei Zongguang was naturally happy. Xianfang and Bai Yang's battle strength was unmatched in the Flaming Cloud City. With the two of them, even if there were really troublesome people who barged in, there was no need to worry. At this moment, at the Lei family's execution ground, Qin Yu saw the little boy. Just as he had sensed, the little boy was tied to a wooden stake and unconscious. Looking at his body, his skin was torn and his flesh was lacerated. Even his bones were vaguely visible. It was obvious that he had been tortured after being caught. Qin Yu put him down, crushed a spiritual pill, and fed it into his mouth to heal his internal injuries. What shocking vitality! While Qin Yu was feeding him the pill, the dragon soul sensed the little boy's situation and said in shock. With the injuries that the little boy had suffered, a normal person, even an adult, would have died long ago. But deep within the little boy's body, there was a shocking vitality. From that vitality, even if the little boy was tied up for a month without eating or drinking, he wouldn't die. One has an extraordinary soul power, and the other has shocking vitality. Qin Yu's eyes flickered with surprise. The siblings were indeed extraordinary. They really came for that little bastard. At this moment, the guard commander had already led a group of guards to the execution ground with a murderous look on his face. Qin Yu picked up the unconscious boy and strode towards the Lei clan's martial artists who were blocking the entrance. I'll only say this once. Make way or die. Qin Yu did not stop walking as he spoke indifferently. Humph, you dare to barge into my Lei family. The rank 4 Earth Martial Realm Guard Commander coldly snorted as he stared at Qin Yu with cold, killing intent. But before he could finish his words, His pupils suddenly shrank to the size of pinholes, and the cold, killing intent in his eyes was replaced by a thick color of shock. Sky. Martial realm. At this moment, the guard commander's lips parted as he felt the fluctuations of true energy from Qin Yu's body. He had never imagined that this youth, who looked like he was only 15 or 16 years old, would actually be in the sky martial realm. A mere sky martial realm. I want to see how you will make my lay family members die. Just as the guard commander and the others were about to retreat, an ice-cold voice sounded. It was Lei Zongguang who came with a group of lay family elders. Behind Lei Zongguang and the others, Xian Fang and Bai Yang slowly walked over. It was only a sky martial realm cultivator. The Lei family was completely capable of dealing with him. However, to be able to reach the sky martial realm at such a young age, it made them curious as to which power this genius belonged to. Inner courtyard student. Qin Yu swept his gaze over Lei Zongguang and the others. He was slightly surprised when he saw Xian Fang and Bai Yang. He did not expect to encounter Imperial Academy's inner courtyard students here. However, one was a rank 2 martial king and one was a rank 3 martial king. Qin Yu did not put them in his eyes at all. Brat, you dare to barge into my lay family and even dare to threaten us. You have quite the nerve. State your name. Lei Zongguang's face was ice-cold as he stared at Qin Yu with killing intent. At this moment, the guard commander immediately went up to Lei Zongguang and reported in a low voice. So it's you. First, you killed my lay family members and now you dare to barge into my lay family. Do you really think there's no one in my lay family? After hearing that, the killing intent on Lei Zongguang's face became even more intense. So it's this brat. It seems that there's no need for us to go to the Dragon Spirit City. Hearing that, Xian Fang smiled. Indeed. Capture this brat and have the Qin family members obediently come over and beg for forgiveness. Then, execute them all. Bai Yang crossed his arms and said with a smile. Chapter 53. Go to Dragon Spirit City? Ask the Qin family to come and ask for forgiveness, and then execute them all? Hearing Xian Fang and Bai Yang's words, Qin Yu's eyes flashed with killing intent. You are also from the Lei family? Although we are not from the Lei family, since you have offended the Lei family, you have offended us. Xian Fang smiled proudly. Boy, I'll give you a chance. Break one of your arms, destroy your cultivation, and kneel in front of Fire Cloud City for 9 days and 9 nights. If you don't die, I'll let you go. Bai Yang had a mocking expression. Very well. I originally wanted to let you go for the sake of the Sacred Institute, but now, none of you will live. Qin Yu's voice suddenly turned gloomy and ice-cold. For the sake of the Sacred Institute? Xian Fang and Bai Yang were stunned. Was Qin Yu also a student of the Sacred Institute? Little bastard, you dare to be so arrogant after killing people from the Lei family. Today, I'll let you die without a burial place, and then I'll let the Qin family be slaves for generations to come. Lei Zongguang couldn't suppress the killing intent in his eyes as he gave the order ferociously. Take him down. Whoosh, whoosh. Following Lei Zongguang's order, the 5 elders of the Lei family in the sky martial realm rushed out and attacked Qin Yu crazily. Die. Qin Yu rolled up his true essence and carried the little boy on his back. His body flashed and many shadows appeared. In the next moment, many powerful war dragon fists rushed out like wild dragons. Bang, bang, bang. Sounds of explosions appeared one after another. Those heaven realm cultivators that were attacking Qin Yu were like balloons. They all exploded and turned into a bloody mist, scattering in the air. How could? Lei Zongguang's eyes widened in disbelief. 5 sky martial realm cultivators had been killed in an instant. Was Qin Yu's cultivation really only at the first level of the sky martial realm? A king-level martial technique? Xian Fang and Bai Yang were also stunned. He had mastered a king-level martial technique, at the first level of the sky martial realm? His talent in martial arts was too terrifying. Swish, swish. After blowing up the 5 heaven realm people, Qin Yu's body flashed and dozens of lifelike illusions appeared, causing the Lei family cultivators to be unable to capture Qin Yu's body. Not good. Lei family head. Xian Fang and Bai Yang were the first to react. Their expressions changed as they rushed towards Lei Zongguang. It would be fine if all the other members of the Lei clan died, but if Lei Zongguang died, it would be difficult to explain to the second prince. Raging waves of the sea. Xian Fang and Bai Yang also failed to capture Qin Yu's true body. Therefore, as he charged out, Bai Yang formed a seal with both hands, and a majestic tidal true yuan burst forth like a surging wave. Wherever the true essence tide passed, regardless of whether it was Qin Yu's phantoms or the Lei family's martial artists, they were all swept away. Bang! Qin Yu punched the berserk tide of true essence and leapt backwards. Shattering finger! However, as Qin Yu leapt backwards, he jabbed a finger at Lei Zongguang. A faint black war dragon true yuan tore through the air like a sharp sword, attacking Lei Zongguang at lightning speed. Even though Lei Zongguang had a true yuan shield, it still pierced through it. Poochie! Lei Zongguang vomited a large mouthful of blood. There was a bloody fingerprint on his chest. If he had not reacted in time and moved to the side, his heart would have been pierced. Young Master Xian Fang, young Master Bai Yang, quickly kill him! Kill him! Lei Zongguang, who had just survived the calamity, was pale. His body trembled as he pointed at Qin Yu in horror. Lei Zongguang had just taken a trip to the gates of hell and experienced the true feeling of death. If he let Qin Yu escape today, he would not be able to sleep peacefully in the future. You dodged pretty quickly. Qin Yu coldly glanced at Xian Fang and Bai Yang, who were protecting Lei Zongguang, and executed the 100 shadow demonic art once more. The might of a 9th-grade heaven-ranked movement technique was displayed to the fullest by him. Bang! 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 However, Qin Yu's target this time was not Lei Zongguang, but the other cultivators of the Lei family. In the blink of an eye, the Lei family's Earth Martial Realm and Sky Martial Realm elders fell one after another under Qin Yu's hands. Damn it! This scene caused Lei Zongguang's eyes to widen and his heart to bleed. These were the seedlings of the Lei family, but now they were all killed by Qin Yu. Their Lei family's strength would definitely fall to the level of an ordinary small faction. Enough! Xian Fang stood out. His square face was filled with chilling intent. In front of 2 martial kings, Qin Yu actually dared to kill without any fear. He was simply too arrogant. Why? Are you in such a hurry to die? Qin Yu punched an elder of the Lei family, then turned around and looked at Xian Fang with an indifferent gaze. Brat, the Lei family is now a subordinate force of the second prince. Do you know the consequences of attacking a cultivator of the Lei family? Xian Fang's right hand moved and a 5-foot-long saber appeared. A tyrannical saber chi swept out. It was a peak-grade profound spiritual weapon. I really don't know. Why don't you tell me? Qin Yu smiled indifferently. He was the emperor of Shinran. Even if he had reincarnated, why would he be afraid of the son of a dynasty? Exterminate the 9 generations! Xian Fang's eyes darkened as he spat out these 4 words. Haha, that will depend on whether he has the ability or not. Qin Yu smiled lightly, not caring at all. As he spoke, Qin Yu's finger moved again. Streaks of faint black true yuan pierced through the air and killed several Qin family cultivators who were far away. This made Lei Zongguang gnash his teeth in anger, but there was nothing he could do. Even he had almost died in the hands of Qin Yu. He could only hope that Xian Fang would kill Qin Yu as soon as possible. The second prince is the most talented person among all the princes. He will become the crown prince and inherit the throne in the future. Do you think the second prince has the ability? Xian Fang's eyes twitched and his face darkened. Qin Yu's speed was too fast. Even he couldn't save the Lei family cultivators in time. If he really dares to do that, he won't be far from death. Qin Yu indifferently spat out a sentence. As long as he could get the 1,000-poison inky dragon in the secret realm of the Royal Academy, he wouldn't be afraid of the Zhen Wu dynasty. If he was really angered, he would directly destroy the Zhen Wu dynasty. How dare you? How dare you be disrespectful to the second prince? Die! Xian Fang was enraged. Mysterious spiritual inscriptions appeared on the saber in his hand, and he slashed it in the air. The air rippled like water. A long saber radiance tore through the air and slashed toward Qin Yu with a destructive force. Third-grade King martial technique, destruction slash. A smile appeared on the corner of Qin Yu's mouth. With a light step, he dodged that destructive blade ray. On the other hand, many of the Lei family cultivators who were hiding far away didn't react in time and were cut in half by the saber radiant. When the other Lei family cultivators saw this, they were scared out of their wits and quickly left the execution ground. The power is not bad. Qin Yu appeared on Xian Fang's left with a series of afterimages. He glanced at the Lei clan's martial practitioners who were innocently implicated and said with a smile. Chapter 54. It's just a heaven-class movement skill. Do you really think I can't do anything to you? The corner of Xian Fang's eyes twitched as the dark green true essence swirled around his body. In the next moment, he seemed to have turned into a gust of wind. His speed suddenly doubled as he charged towards Qin Yu. The saber in his hand once again emitted a shocking saber aura as he slashed out. Just in time, Qin Yu did not use the heaven-punishing killing intent. He had already entered the sky martial realm and his fire-lightning dragon body had reached the fourth revolution. He no longer needed to use the killing intent of the heaven-punishing array to deal with a martial king. Moreover, the killing intent of the heaven-punishing array was still recovering. Qin Yu did not want to waste it and use it on a martial king. Qin Yu moved his right hand and the hell-suppressing divine spear appeared in his hand. His body trembled as he thrust the spear at the saber radiance. Bang! A violent explosion sounded out. It was that terrifying saber light that had been struck by the sharp spear light. It directly exploded. An Earth-class spiritual weapon? Xian Fang was stunned when he sensed the terrifying spiritual aura from the hell-suppressing divine spear. Qin Yu had just entered the sky martial realm, but he had an Earth-class spiritual weapon. Wasn't that too extravagant? Wait, that's the hell-suppressing divine spear of the North Campus. Bai Yang, who was protecting Lei Zongguang, recognized the hell-suppressing divine spear. The hell-suppressing divine spear? Although Xian Fang had entered the inner campus from the East Campus, he had heard of the hell-suppressing divine spear of the North Campus. However, it was rumored that the hell-suppressing divine spear weighed tens of thousands of pounds and no one could lift it. Why did it fall into Qin Yu's hands so easily? Is he also a student of the Imperial Sacred Institute? Lei Zongguang was shocked. He did not expect that he would offend someone from the Imperial Sacred Institute. However, Qin Yu did not pay attention to Xian Fang and Bai Yang. As he took several steps, his body turned into a blur as he attacked Xian Fang. Humph, so what if you're a student of the Imperial Sacred Institute? How dare you insult the second prince? You'll still die. Xian Fang's eyes were filled with killing intent. The true essence in his body surged and gathered in his saber. 9 dragons heaven-warring formation. Qin Yu let out a low growl. 400,000 vital energy surged into the hell-suppressing godly spear, causing the surface of the spear to light up with mysterious runes. In the next moment, Qin Yu didn't dodge, and the hell-suppressing divine spear stabbed out explosively through the air. Roar! At this moment, 9 lifelike blood dragons erupted from the tip of the hell-suppressing godly spear, baring their fangs and brandishing their claws. The terrifying saber light was directly shattered by the blood and qi dragon. What power is this? Xian Fang's pupils shrank. Those 9 ferocious blood dragons filled his heart with a sense of danger. He immediately condensed his true essence into a pair of wings, intending to escape through the void. Explode. However, the 9 blood dragons seemed to possess intelligence. Like a 9-dragon formation, they surrounded Xian Fang from all directions and completely sealed off his path of retreat. Boom! Boom! Amidst the faintly discernible dragon roars, deafening explosions resounded incessantly, spreading throughout the entire flaming cloud city and alarming countless people. When the 9 blood dragons exploded simultaneously, Li Mu's eyes lit up. On the Lei family's execution ground, a huge pit that was dozens of feet wide and dozens of feet deep appeared. Dust rose into the air. As for Xian Fang, who was besieged by the 9 blood and qi dragons, his corpse was completely destroyed, leaving no trace behind. 9 dragons warring the heavens was an advanced king's spear art. The 9 dragons' heaven warring formation was formed by 9 dragons' heaven warring spear technique. As the 9 spears overlapped one another, there might completely reach the level of a royal martial skill. On top of that, with the explosive strength of 400,000 caddies, Xian Fang, who was only a rank 2 martial king, naturally died without a corpse. Xian Fang died? Lei Zongguang and Bai Yang were both stupefied when they saw the huge pit that had appeared. A rank 1 Heaven Realm cultivator actually managed to kill a rank 2 martial king after crossing an entire realm? Wasn't this battle prowess of surpassing levels a little too terrifying? At this moment, Qin Yu's cold and indifferent gaze had already landed on the 2 of them. Although he had just killed a rank 2 martial king, Qin Yu's expression did not change in the slightest. It was as if the astonishing battle prowess he had just accomplished was nothing more than an ordinary thing. This brat is too strange. Bai Yang quivered and regained his senses. He immediately grabbed Lei Zongguang and prepared to fly away. Qin Yu's battle prowess was simply too astonishing. Although he was stronger than Xian Fang, it did not mean that he would be able to defeat Qin Yu. Right now, the most important thing was to protect Lei Zongguang and leave. As for Qin Yu, the second prince would naturally send people to kill him. You only want to leave now? Isn't it a little too late? Just as Bai Yang was preparing to leave, an indifferent voice sounded from behind him. Bai Yang and Lei Zongguang's bodies trembled as they felt a chill run down their spines. Was that Qin Yu's voice? But, wasn't Qin Yu standing in the distance? Something's wrong. However, upon closer inspection, Bai Yang's pupils shrank. He saw that the Qin Yu standing there was no longer the hell-suppressing divine spear in his hand. Go on your way. This moment of delay caused Bai Yang to lose the opportunity to escape. Numerous berserk dragons covered the sky and covered the earth as they charged toward them. There were a total of 20 to 30 of them. Rumble! The earth-shattering explosion sounded once again. This time around, the entire Lei family was shaken by the explosion. It was as if an earthquake had occurred. Countless cultivators rushed to escape. The cultivators that had gathered from the flaming cloud city were all gathered outside the Lei family. They did not know what had happened to the insufferably arrogant Lei family. The Lei family should still have a martial king. Where is he hiding? Qin Yu jumped and landed on the top of a pavilion. He looked at the Lei clan that was in a mess. Right at this moment, a black silhouette soundlessly sneak attacked him from behind. A rank 5 martial king dares to sneak attack me? Qin Yu, who had been using his soul perception the entire time, instantly sensed it. Without the slightest hesitation, Qin Yu directly slapped his palm behind him with boundless killing intent. It was as if a flood had erupted and engulfed everything. Before the rank 5 martial king that sneak attacked him could react, he was killed by the heaven-punishing killing intent. It was an old man with a head full of white hair. He should be the Lei family's old master, the only martial king. Whoosh! Qin Yu leaped and left the Qin family, disappearing from the flaming cloud city. The Lei family's only martial king had been killed. All of the Heaven Realm cultivators were either dead or injured. They could be said to have completely fallen. 5 days later, 3 figures appeared outside the Dragon Spirit City. They were Qin Yu and the little boy and sister. In the past few days, the little boy's injuries had completely healed. Qin Yu also knew their names. The little boy was called Jiang Yuanyi and the little girl was called Jiang Qingyu. Qin Yu and the Dragon Spirit were surprised to hear their surnames for the first time. In the Heaven Domain, the surname Jiang was a big clan. Countless experts had appeared. The 2 siblings had nowhere to go, so Qin Yu directly brought them back to the Spirit Deer City. Hearing the news of Qin Yu's return, everyone in the Qin family swarmed out. When they saw Qin Yu enter the Heaven Realm so quickly, all of the Qin clan members were wild with joy. The current Qin family had clearly changed compared to when Qin Yu left. With the heaven-level cultivation techniques and spiritual pills that Qin Yu left behind, several Earth Realm elders had already reached half a step into the Heaven Realm. Qin Tianhu's cultivation had already reached rank 4 Heaven Realm. The current Qin Yu was already the number 1 family in the Dragon Spirit City. Chapter 55. Qin Yu returned to the Qin clan this time, not only to bring Jiang Yuanyi and his sister back, but also to warn Qin Tianhu. After all, Qin Yu had made many enemies outside. It was inevitable that there would be forces targeting the Qin family. However, as long as the Qin family did not leave Dragon Spirit City, no matter how the forces outside targeted the Qin family, they would not be able to succeed. After all, Master Gu Yuan was in charge of Dragon Spirit City. After returning to the Qin family, Qin Yu left a huge amount of cultivation resources in the Qin family. Those Sky Martial Realm, Martial King Realm, and even a few Martial Royal Realm experts who died in his hands. After all, they were all extremely wealthy. With these cultivation resources, the Qin family's upper echelon experts would be strengthened continuously. Qin Yu only stayed for 2 days in the Qin family before he was ready to leave. However, before he left, Qin Yu went to the governor's mansion to thank Shang Lingfeng, the governor. Last time when the Lei family's Sky Martial Realm elder came to the Qin family to denounce them, he was beaten out by Shang Lingfeng. This time, Qin Yu also gave Shang Lingfeng 2 spiritual pills. One was the Immortal Elixir and the other was the Spirit-Breaking Elixir. The Immortal Elixir could gradually change a martial artist's aptitude and enhance their potential. The Spirit-Breaking Elixir could allow a Sky Martial Realm martial artist to break through to the next level without any hindrance. With these 2 spiritual pills, Shang Lingfeng would definitely take the initiative to protect the Qin family even without the relationship with the Baiwu Commandery Prince's mansion. After leaving the governor's mansion, Qin Yu went to look for Master Gu Yuan again. Qin Yu could start refining the soul recovery elixir that he had promised Master Gu Yuan when he reached the Martial King realm. Therefore, he needed to confirm some things. After hearing Qin Yu's intention, Master Gu Yuan spread his wings slightly and brought Qin Yu to see the old woman who was sleeping in the jade coffin. After seeing the old woman, Qin Yu basically understood the old woman's situation. The old woman's soul sea was severely injured. Her 3 souls and 7 spirits were scattered and wandering in her body. If Master Gu Yuan had not sealed her body with the jade coffin and supported her with the power of the dragon vein, that old woman's soul had probably dissipated long ago. Qin Yu promised Master Gu Yuan that he would definitely be able to awaken the old woman, which made Master Gu Yuan quite happy. After all, even if he obtained the soul-returning pill, he might not be able to return the old woman's 3 spiritual and 7 physical souls. However, Qin Yu's affirmation of his promise had a different significance. Ever since Qin Yu took out the Soul Path secret technique like the 10,000 Souls Great Technique, Grandmaster Gyuan had absolute trust in Qin Yu's words. After visiting Master Gu Yuan, Qin Yu set off for the Imperial Sacred Academy. 10 days later, Qin Yu, who was hurrying on foot, returned to the Imperial Sacred Academy. At the same time, in the palace of true martial Imperial City, in a dazzling golden palace. Your Highness, my father and grandfather were killed by that bastard. You have to seek justice for this concubine. A sorrowful voice sounded. A woman with a charming face and a graceful figure knelt on the ground with tears in her eyes. This beautiful woman was the young miss of the Lei family, Lei Xuefei. In front of Lei Xuefei, there was a figure sitting on the main seat. He was in his early 20s and had a handsome face. This person was the second prince of true martial dynasty, Wu Xingqian. Don't worry, my beloved concubine. I have already ordered people to investigate this matter. I believe that they will find out the identity of the bastard very soon. No matter who that person is, no matter what his identity is, I will definitely kill his entire family. Wu Xingqian's handsome face was filled with bone-chilling killing intent. This time, not only was the Lei family almost annihilated, but even the 2 geniuses from the inner yard that he sent didn't return. This was the reason why Wu Xingqian had the intention to kill. Even with his identity, there weren't many geniuses from the inner yard who were loyal to him in the Imperial Sacred Academy. Most of the students were in a wait-and-see mode. After all, he hadn't been officially crowned as the crown prince yet. But he didn't expect that he would lose 2 geniuses in this ordinary mission. This was simply a slap to his face. Your Highness! Just then, a martial artist in heavy armor with chilling killing intent around him entered the palace. Speak. Wu Xingqian waved his hand and ordered people to help Lei Xuefei down. He then spoke plainly. We have already found out the whereabouts of that person. That martial artist in armor spoke in a deep voice. Where? Wu Xingqian's eyes shot out 2 rays of blade-like radiance. His entire person seemed to have undergone a drastic change. He was like an unsheathed peerless sword that was about to slaughter all living things. Imperial Sacred Academy. Imperial Sacred Academy. Qin Yu, it's great that you're fine. What exactly happened? Where are the other students? Qin Yu had just entered the Sacred Academy when Jiang Long and the others, who had received the news, rushed over in a hurry. Ever since Qin Yu and the group of Northern Yard disciples went missing, the Imperial Sacred Academy had sent many people to search for them. In the end, when they arrived at the mission location, they only saw traces of a chaotic battle and countless dismembered corpses. Among the dismembered corpses, there were many Northern Yard disciples. This made Jiang Long and the others feel a chill in their hearts. Although they did not find Qin Yu's corpse after so long, there was still no news of Qin Yu. Therefore, Jiang Long and the others all thought that Qin Yu was most certainly also doomed. Who would have thought that after more than a month, Qin Yu would actually return to the Holy Academy unscathed? When we were carrying out a mission, 5 martial kings suddenly appeared and attacked us. Fortunately, a martial emperor passed by at that time, so we avoided death. Qin Yu did not tell the truth. After all, if people knew that he could kill 5 martial kings and martial emperors when he was in the Earth martial arts realm, it would be too shocking. When returning to the Sacred Academy, Qin Yu had already found an excuse. He and the other students were separated halfway and stayed in the mountain range for a while. Then, he obtained an opportunity and broke through to the Sky martial arts realm. 5 martial kings? Do you still remember what they looked like? After hearing Qin Yu's words, Jiang Long and the others' eyes turned cold. In the territory of the Zhenwu dynasty, someone dared to ambush the people of the Royal Sacred Academy. This was simply unheard of. This matter had to be thoroughly investigated. I picked up the tokens dropped by 2 martial kings. Qin Yu took out the tokens of the 2 martial kings of the Zhou family. The people of the Zhou family were very confident in that mission, so they even carried the identity tokens with them. In the end, the people they sent all died tragically in the hands of Qin Yu. These identity tokens became evidence. The Zhou family was considered a big family in the Zhenwu dynasty, and there was a martial emperor in it. Qin Yu naturally could not kill them now. However, with these two identity tokens, with the power of the Royal Sacred Academy, if they really investigated, the Zhou family would definitely be in big trouble. If the crime of killing the students of the Royal Sacred Academy was confirmed, the whole family would be exterminated. You actually entered the sky martial arts realm so quickly. This time, you profited from a disaster. As Jiang Long and the others left quickly with the two identity tokens, Yun Shi, who was dressed in martial arts clothes, walked over valiantly. Senior sister Yun Shi, your cultivation has also broken through a lot. After not seeing her for more than a month, Yun Shi's cultivation had already reached the peak of the sky martial arts realm. Moreover, the fluctuations of qi and blood on her body were also more and more powerful. It seemed that her body refining technique had also improved greatly. Chapter 56. Hee, I plan to break through to the Martial King realm soon. Junior brother Qin Yu, you'll have to take care of the northern courtyard in the future. Yun Shi was obviously in a good mood and smiled widely. Qin Yu smiled. He didn't have time to care about the northern courtyard's matters. After returning to the academy this time, he was ready to enter the inner courtyard. According to the rules of the Imperial Sacred Academy, one had to reach the Martial King realm to become a student of the inner courtyard. However, Qin Yu's combat strength was already enough to defeat Martial Kings. He should have a chance to enter the inner courtyard. By the way, junior brother Qin Yu, Master Tianxiong has been looking for you many times during this period. After the two talked for a while, Yun Shi seemed to have thought of something and suddenly said, Master Tianxiong? Why? Did he encounter a problem again and want to ask me? Qin Yu asked casually. Can you not be so straightforward? Even if Master Tianxiong really has a problem, you should say that it's an exchange of insight. Yun Shi looked at Qin Yu helplessly. He's a master blacksmith. Ever since Master Tianxiong successfully forged a top Earth-grade spiritual weapon, his status in the Zhenwu dynasty and the Great Eastern region's blacksmithing world had risen. Why is he looking for me? Qin Yu, however, smiled noncommittally. Master Tianxiong might be called a master in the Zhenwu dynasty and the Great Eastern region. However, in front of him, he was barely qualified to be an apprentice. It seems that he really has a problem to ask you about blacksmithing. As soon as he said this, Yun Shi laughed. After a while, he said, If you have time, go and find Master Tianxiong. He seems to be in a hurry. Qin Yu shook his head. He didn't have time. The last time he gave Tianxiong advice on blacksmithing was because he took the primal chaos stone. Qin Yu didn't want to owe him a favor. Qin Yu. Just as the two of them were heading to the northern courtyard, a voice full of murderous intent suddenly sounded. Yun Shi frowned. That voice carried an undisguised murderous intent towards Qin Yu. Who was it that had such a strong killing intent towards Qin Yu? You finally can't hold it in any longer? Hearing the familiar voice, Qin Yu's eyes flashed with a cold light. He turned his head to look. A handsome figure walked over, surrounded by a group of students. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent as he walked towards him. That person was Xue Tianwu. When he returned to the Imperial Academy, Qin Yu knew that Xue Tianwu would definitely come looking for him. After all, the Xue clan had lost a martial emperor. No matter how strong the Xue clan was, losing a martial emperor was enough to make them feel heartache. You actually didn't die. Xue Tianwu glared fiercely at Qin Yu, the cold killing intent in his eyes almost solidifying. To be honest, Xue Tianwu found it hard to believe that Qin Yu had returned to the Saint Court. After all, his father had sent out a martial emperor to kill Qin Yu while he was still in the cradle. When he thought of that martial monarch, the killing intent in Xue Tianwu's heart grew even stronger. The martial monarch that the Xue clan had sent out had not returned yet. Xue Tianwu had already guessed what had happened to him. Naturally, he did not think that Qin Yu could kill a martial monarch. However, it would be different if the powerhouse that had been hiding in Spirit Deer City had made a move. That mysterious powerhouse was most likely from the same generation as his grandfather. It was not difficult to deal with a martial monarch. When he saw that Qin Yu had not returned to the Saint Court, Xue Tianwu thought that Qin Yu had been killed, so he temporarily put the matter aside. However, not only was Qin Yu unscathed, but he had also returned alive with a greatly improved cultivation. Xue Tianwu could not tolerate this and immediately charged over. This was the imperial city, his territory. No matter who the mysterious powerhouse behind Qin Yu was, he would not be afraid. You seem to be in a bad mood. Did someone from the Xue clan die? Qin Yu smiled faintly. However, in Xue Tianwu's eyes, Qin Yu's smile was filled with mockery. Especially Qin Yu's words, it was a slap to Xue Tianwu's face. Little bastard, I think you're tired of living. Xue Tianwu's eyes were bloodshot, and the majestic aura of a martial king erupted. Xue Tianwu, what are you doing? Yun Shi, who was frowning, took a step forward and stood in front of Qin Yu. She did not know what grudges there were between Qin Yu and Xue Tianwu. However, as the big sister of the Northern Court, she could not watch Xue Tianwu attack Qin Yu. Even if Xue Tianwu had become a martial king and an inner court student, Yun Shi was not afraid at all. They had fought many times in the past, but Xue Tianwu had rarely won against her. Yun Shi, this is a private matter between me and this little bastard. You'd better stay out of it, Xue Tianwu said coldly. His murderous intent grew, but he seemed to be afraid of Yun Shi. According to the rules of the Saint Court, inner court students are not allowed to attack outer court students. If you really want to fight, I'll fight with you. Yun Shi flicked her finger, and the star spear appeared in her hand. I thought you were strong, but it turns out that you only know how to hide behind a woman. Xue Tianwu stared at Qin Yu and coldly sneered. There was actually some jealousy in his expression. With Yun Shi's talent and status, Xue Tianwu naturally had the idea of pursuing her. Unfortunately, Yun Shi had never been kind to him. Now, she had taken the initiative to protect Qin Yu, which naturally aroused Xue Tianwu's jealousy. Xue Tianwu, if you want to fight, I'll be there any time. Qin Yu gently pushed Yun Shi away. His murderous intent toward Xue Tianwu had reached an unbearable level. Last time in Spirit Deer City, when Xue Tianwu had threatened to wipe out the Qins, Qin Yu had wanted to kill him. However, back then, Qin Yu was too weak, so he did not make a move. Now, the situation was different. Good, you've got guts? Xue Tianwu's face revealed a hideous smile. However, I'm not interested in small fights. A cold smile appeared on the corners of Qin Yu's mouth. Then how do you want to fight? Xue Tianwu sneered. With his martial king realm cultivation, he was not afraid of Qin Yu no matter how he wanted to play. At this moment, he was thinking about how he could accidentally kill Qin Yu. Let's fight to the death. Qin Yu's eyes flashed with murderous intent. Do you dare? Although the imperial court forbade students from fighting in private, it did not forbid a fight to the death. However, it was rare for students to fight to the death. A fight to the death? Xue Tianwu was stunned, then he laughed. Why wouldn't I dare? Qin Yu's suggestion was exactly what he wanted. In this way, he could justifiably kill Qin Yu with his own hand. Junior Qin Yu, are you serious? Yun Shi's face changed slightly as she looked at Qin Yu in disbelief. She did not know where Qin Yu got the confidence to fight to the death with a martial king realm cultivator. Chapter 57. Of course I'm serious. Qin Yu glanced at Xue Tianwu and walked towards the combat ring. Xue Tianwu smiled coldly and followed along with his entourage. In just a short while, the news of Qin Yu and Xue Tianwu's life and death duel spread throughout the inner and outer halls. Almost all the students in the inner halls gathered at the combat ring. There were even many elders who went after hearing the news. The reason why this life and death duel attracted so many people was because of the difference in strength between the two sides. Qin Yu, an outer hall student who had just entered the sky martial realm, wanted to challenge Xue Tianwu, who had already entered the martial king realm and became an inner hall student. This naturally aroused everyone's curiosity. I'll ask you one last time. Are you sure you want to have a life and death duel? Once you step onto the combat ring, unless your opponent is willing to go easy on you, only one of you will be able to survive. An inner hall elder of the Imperial Sacred Court frowned as he looked at Qin Yu and Xue Tianwu. Qin Yu not only had a 9th-grade martial vein, but his talent was also comparable to a spiritual vein. Xue Tianwu's talent wasn't as good as Qin Yu's. However, he was a direct descendant of the Xue clan, one of the Imperial Sacred Court's 1,000-year-old clans. The two of them wanted to have a life-and-death duel, which made them hesitate. I'm sure. Hearing those words, Qin Yu and Xue Tianwu both nodded affirmatively. All right. The inner hall elder nodded his head helplessly and activated the defensive array of the combat ring. Qin Yu and Xue Tianwu's figures flashed. They both jumped onto the martial arena and faced each other from afar. Buzz. As the array was activated, a fist-thick defensive light screen fell. This light screen was used to prevent the two of them from escaping and to prevent others from interfering. Bastard, now that you don't have that person backing you up, I'll kill you! After leaping onto the combat ring, Xue Tianwu revealed a sinister smile, and the killing intent in his eyes grew stronger. You should worry about yourself? Qin Yu's right hand moved and the hell-suppressing divine spear appeared in his hand. You think you can fight me just because you have an Earth-grade spiritual weapon? Ridiculous. Xue Tianwu flicked his fingers, and 2 cold short sabers landed in his hands. That's Ice Fire Blade. Xue Tianwu actually used an Earth-rank spirit artifact to deal with a sky martial realm. Isn't this making a big fuss over nothing? This is a life-and-death battle after all. Xue Tianwu has just become a martial king. It's normal for him to be cautious. I wonder what that new student from the northern campus is capable of. He actually dares to challenge Xue Tianwu to a death match. Looking at the two people who were holding Earth-tier spiritual weapons and facing each other, the surrounding students started to discuss in low voices. What the hell is going on? Jiang Long, who had just received the news and rushed over, was stunned when he saw Qin Yu on the life and death platform. He had just advanced to the sky martial arts realm, and he had a life and death battle with a martial king realm student from the inner yard. This kind of thing was obviously courting death. Was Qin Yu's head caught by the door? Die. Ice and fire slash. On Xue Tianwu's body, the fire and ice true essence swirled and gathered on the 2 blades in his hands. Then, he fiercely slashed out. Whoosh! 2 3-meter-long blades of ice and fire tore through the air and slashed at Qin Yu. Although Xue Tianwu did not have dual spiritual veins, he had awakened 2 attribute. His combat strength was already stronger than his peers. Adding on the Earth-tier spiritual weapon, the ice and fire blades, Xue Tianwu's strength was enough to surpass his cultivation, even if he was in the Imperial Sacred Academy. Boom! Qin Yu took a step forward. The hell-suppressing divine spear was like a dragon emerging from the sea. Its aura was berserk, and it directly shattered the blades of ice and fire. Freeze! Just at this moment, a dense ice true essence burst out from Xue Tianwu's body. A thick layer of ice appeared on the ground and quickly spread towards Qin Yu. Break! Qin Yu's right foot stomped on the platform. A faint black true essence mixed with the boundless blood qi turned into a substantial shockwave. The thick layer of ice that swept over was directly smashed into smithereens. You have some ability, but the true essence of a martial king is not something a sky martial realm true essence can compare to. Xue Tianwu smiled coldly. The true essence of ice in his left hand whistled, and the true essence of fire in his right hand burned. He directly charged at Qin Yu, intending to engage in close combat. After all, Qin Yu used a spear. The closer the fight was, the harder it would be for Qin Yu to use his hands and feet. This is the end. 9 Dragons Heavenly Battle Array. Qin Yu saw through Xue Tianwu's intentions. He was too lazy to tangle with Xue Tianwu. His right hand shook and the hell-suppressing divine spear shot out. In the next moment, a sky-shaking dragon roar sounded. 9 streaks of blood chi appeared, baring their fangs and brandishing their claws. They directly enveloped Xue Tianwu, who was charging over. Explode! Following Qin Yu's low shout, a series of deafening explosions sounded. The entire life and death stage started to violently tremble. A king martial technique? No, this power has already far surpassed a king martial technique. Could it be a royal martial technique? How is this possible? What the hell? How can a mere sky martial realm erupt with such terrifying power? I'm afraid Xue Tianwu is doomed this time. The surrounding students and elders all revealed looks of intense shock on their faces. The power of Qin Yu's move was already comparable to a martial king realm expert. Its power was frightening. So strong. Yunxi and Jiang Long both opened their mouths slightly. They thought that Qin Yu's combat strength was already the limit when he was in the Earth martial realm in the new student assembly. They didn't expect that Qin Yu didn't use his full strength at that time. The combat strength that he displayed now was truly shocking. A LV1 Sky martial realm expert was able to fight a martial king realm expert. This kind of thing had never happened even in the history of the Imperial Sacred Academy. In a sense, this was no longer a simple fight against an enemy of a higher level. He has quite a few life-saving means. Looking at the explosion area that was filled with stone fragments and dust, Qin Yu raised his eyebrows slightly. Whoosh! A strong wind of ice and fire swept by, and the dust and stone fragments disappeared, revealing Xue Tianwu. At this time, a thick layer of true essence protective shield appeared around Xue Tianwu. It was precisely that layer of protective barrier that blocked Qin Yu's frightening attack earlier. However, this protective shield was not formed by ordinary true essence, but the true essence righteous force that could only be refined by a martial king realm expert. You, how can you be so strong? At this time, Xue Tianwu's face was faintly pale, and his eyes were filled with obvious fear and horror as he stared at Qin Yu. Xue Tianwu never thought that a sky martial realm expert's martial technique would almost kill him. Die! A cold light flashed in Qin Yu's eyes. He took a step forward and rushed out like lightning. An even more powerful fluctuation was emitted from the hell-suppressing divine spear. Whoosh! The corner of Xue Tianwu's eyes twitched, and he felt a chill in his heart. Without thinking, he immediately condensed true essence into wings and flew into the sky to avoid Qin Yu's attack. Ha ha! You can't catch up, right? Seeing Qin Yu raise his head to look at him, Xue Tianwu's originally pale face became sinister, and he laughed wildly. The gap between the sky martial realm and the martial king realm was obvious at this time. Just stand there and wait for your death. Before he finished speaking, the ice and fire blade in his hand danced, and the ice and fire blade was like a storm, continuously slashing towards Qin Yu. You think that you're the only one who can condense true essence into wings? A cold smile appeared on Qin Yu's face. His figure flickered, and an afterimage appeared as he dodged the ice and fire blade. While dodging, Qin Yu's right hand moved, and a dark green talisman appeared in his hand. Shortly after, a shocking scene appeared. A pair of dark green wings spread out from Qin Yu's back, and he flew into the sky. How is this possible? The sinister smile on Xue Tianwu's face froze, and his eyes almost popped out. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.